Boom.
Ooh,
Hey,
live.
I'm hosting our stream, and my chocobo is over your toaster, Toastus.
Oh.
Oh, good.
Well, the Twitch app on my phone.
Do you like this janky thing that I put for your name, Blake? Do you see that?
I don't, because
Oh, shit. Okay.
I just have you guys on Skype. Like,
Okay.
this is literally my view of you guys.
Oh, fuck.
That's it.
Ah.
That's all I see.
This is-
So what I'll do in
Toaster in the
the
corner.
Just like a
what
little
I'll do in
circle.
the meantime is download the Twitch app onto my phone, because it's a new phone, so I don't have Twitch yet.
Wow.
Just
Okay.
download that. That way, I'll be able to see comments as well.
So, real quick, before we start up, Blake and
Yo.
Nate, do either of you guys want to do the Totally Real News Hour?
I didn't get enough time to prepare for that, and I can't improv, so
Okay.
I'm out.
Yeah, no, my improv is also subpar.
There's
shall we
only
say.
one way to improve, and that's
It's to practice it.
practice.
Practice,
Exactly.
but like I have had no time, and I have also had a few beverages, so I
makes it
I
easier.
elect for anyone but me.
Well, let me put it to you this way, Blake. Whenever Mark, Steph, or myself do it,
We're
all
terrible.
three of us. No, all three of us will make it up on the spot. So,
Yeah, no, still not me. Still not me.
all right, Mister likes to make up puns all day long.
Yeah, but the trouble is that's puns off of like the dumb stuff I see during the day.
That's
So
true.
it's like, oh hey, that also I could pun with this word, but it's harder when it's something that I'm saying, and then I have to make pun after pun after pun, and make it like self-recursive,
Mhm.
like have it all come full circle. It's like, nope, that's hard. Not gonna do it.
Yeah,
I get
I'm
you.
also like usually out of the video game news loop, so me
Really?
coming up with fake news is like usually fucked.
Oh, it's just making up some shit about a video game that you know wouldn't happen.
I know.
Oh yeah,
but
did you
at the
guys
same time,
hear that
just like-
Half-Life 3 was confirmed?
They
Ha!
Ah!
Good one. Classic.
Easy punchline. I forgot my password for Twitch.
What kind of new
Uh-oh.
phone did you get, Blake?
Hunter 2.
It is the LG V20,
How do you like it?
and I love it. It's such a huge improvement over my Galaxy S5.
Oh, dude, I am
Like,
with you.
go-
I went to Moto from Samsung, and I fucking hated Samsung. Fuck Samsung.
It wasn't like I knew I didn't want to go Samsung again, because I've had two Samsung phones in a row, and I've got a Samsung TV, and like it works well, but I just wanted to like branch out into something different. So it wasn't that I hated Samsung, it was just that having a phone that at this point was 2 generations old, it just stopped working. So I'm like, this needs to stop being
Yeah.
a thing now. The other thing that needs to stop being a thing is me not remembering my password.
Is it password?
It's
It
Hunter
is
2.
not. I have like the same 5 or 6 passwords that I alternate for different accounts, and I just have forgotten which one I use for Twitch.
Good job.
Oh,
Yeah,
Toasters. Nice job.
Your password is.
Oh, it's asking for username, not email address. Oh,
Oh.
that's why.
Oh, it was good.
That's exactly
All right, so let's start this bad boy up. What's up, everybody, and welcome to the new Legacy of MarkJon podcast. Da da la da la
Da, da, da,
Mark.
da, da,
Mark John.
MarkJon.
We want to welcome ToastusMachina, also known as Nathan, and also Blake Newton, otherwise known as Fig Newton, for joining us on the podcast. Still no Steph this
Heyo.
week. She's still figuring out her living situation, and also school's gotten a little hectic for all three of us, but more so for her at this point. So she'll be joining us hopefully soon. If not, we'll be having guests and friends on and everybody. Thanks for joining us tonight. How you guys doing?
So far, so good.
How's everybody doing tonight?
Doing good.
Hopefully no one's too hammered, right?
No, I'm good, but like, look at this CAPTCHA. Look at that.
Oh, I fucking
Select the
hate
vehicles,
those.
and there are no vehicles.
That means
if
you
there-
click
if there are
submit.
none,
It's a
click
trick
skip.
question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then you win.
Prime.
All right.
I'll figure this out
nice.
eventually.
Nice job. So yeah, I mean, what have you guys been doing all week?
Working.
Oh yeah, you've been doing an
Yeah.
internship, right?
Yeah, that good old internship in Santa Clarita.
Oh, fun stuff. Actually, that's
Says,
very
sorry,
close
we
to-
couldn't find your account. Kill me.
They lost it. What's up, Ten Stripe? But yeah, that's actually really close to a friend of mine.
Yeah, it's the exact same in terms of location. It's the exact same exit as Magic Mountain.
No kidding.
Yeah,
Wow,
so
that's
it's
actually-
right there. It's right
that's-
there.
Also, like the place with the shittiest traffic.
Yeah, luckily from where I'm coming, I'm going against traffic both ways, so it's a half hour there, half hour back. It's
That's
been
beautiful.
super easy so far. All right,
That's
well,
beautiful.
looks like I'm signing up for another Twitch account.
Good job. What about you, Mark? What have you been up to all week?
I did homework and schoolwork, and then I streamed Final Fantasy X in my.
I
off
saw
time.
that. I actually chimed in for a little bit. I didn't send any.
Yeah, I
messages,
didn't
but
fucking
was
think so,
studying.
John.
No, because I was watching you guys do it. I'm studying for a midterm I have this week, so I
Yeah.
haven't been able to enjoy it as much as I'd like to. What about you, Nathan? What have you been up to all week?
I was sweating my balls off and doing work outside, and I'm enjoying my 4-day weekend before I go on an 8-day trip for work.
Oh no.
Yeah, it's gonna be camping again.
Ah,
So happy.
God, camping.
That sounds fun.
No, it's actually pretty fun. Means that I can't play computer games, but that's part of my job.
All right, there we go. Now I have Twitch chat up.
Cool.
All right.
Hey, what up,
So
chat?
we're all situated.
What
So-
did John do? What? John, are you okay, buddy?
I don't know. I don't know.
What did John
Ten
do?
started calling me rude, so I was like, "What do John do?"
And you
But what
misspelled
did
your own fucking name.
But what?
Well,
do
that's how
John-
you
Wow.
spell Short John, right?
No, you always
not
John.
like-
you
What?
corrected me when I did that one time. You're like, you don't know how to spell my name, and I was like, what the fuck?
No. You spelled Jonathan with an H in there, with like an extra H in there.
Oh, I was about to say Jonathan does have an H. It comes after the T.
I know, Mister. I know. But we were gonna have you on, Blake, sometime in the near future to do Horizon Zero Dawn.
Oh, I'm so
Should
down.
be exciting.
I'm so down. I love that game.
Mark will probably be playing that one though.
I'm good with
Yeah,
with
I'm
shooting
down.
things.
I'm absolutely down, and I have my copy. So just whenever you guys want to have me down, I'm more than happy to make the drive.
Oh hell yeah! Well, we once our schedule frees up, and we'll let you know if you.
Yeah, exactly.
Thank God.
Yeah,
God, I hate
exactly.
I
driving.
mean, and at this point, I'm limited to pretty much only weekends.
No, I get you. So speaking of recording and streaming, Mark and I did a stream recently. If you check the last podcast, which we just posted up on YouTube. By the way, quick reminder: send us the question of the week at legacyofmarkjon@gmail.com. Mark, if you want to put that email up. We were playing.
Okay.
We are playing Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild. Now, over the week, some announcements came out about the second set of DLC. People were kind of expecting it to be meh, but could be interesting. Did you guys hear about this at all?
Nope.
No, don't follow Breath of the Wild at all.
No, yeah,
Follow game news.
it's rough because I don't have a Switch, so I haven't been following all that much information for it.
I gotcha. Well, so the synopsis is after you beat the game, it's kind of being considered an epilogue to the game. So it's like
Okay.
once the ending credits happen, if you do a complete ending, you end up getting this cutscene where it's like you and Zelda go off and do your thing. So I'm guessing it's a follow-up to that with some footage of 3 people on horses, one being Zelda, 2 other nondescript people passing an unopened shrine, which I'm guessing is a new thing,
Nintendo
going to
Switch.
some sort of town.
Shut up, Mark.
And then Zelda meeting with one of the new people from 100 years later. So
Okay.
I don't know.
Interesting.
Seems like it's going to be interesting. They're saying there's going to be a new boss or like a new dungeon, which means a new boss, which people don't know what it's going to be.
Yeah, I lost my mind at Sony's PlayStation. At Sony's PlayStation, at Sony's E3 press conference when they showed Horizon Zero Dawn DLC. I'm like, yes, I need this yesterday, because you finish the game and it's one of the easiest platinum trophies on the PlayStation 4. You can platinum the game in under 40 hours.
Only 40 hours?
For a platinum trophy though, for a platinum
trophy, that is actually
that's insane. Big. But once you've finished the game, there's really not all that much for you to do. Like, there's only 23, I think, different kinds of machines in that game, and all of those machines have an armored and an unarmored variant. But essentially, once you've found all the machines and you know how to take them down, you're kind of struggling to find more things to do. So I'm really excited that they've got DLC out, and they've already confirmed that there will be new machines, that there's more story stuff for you to do. And they actually recently just patched in a New Game Plus mode. So that's very cool. And an ultra hard difficulty mode that I have yet to try, but I have heard
I'll do it.
Anal rape challenging.
You just sold it even harder now.
Yeah.
Well, because the trouble is it doesn't have the I call it the bitch out feature. Because on the hard difficulty and I think the medium difficulty, you can still decrease the difficulty if it's too hard for you. But on ultra hard, that's disabled. So it's like, you stuck, fam.
So I've only seen little bits and pieces of Horizon Zero Dawn. Haven't played it myself. And I was just wondering, like, when you're saying, like, oh, you know how to take down the armored and unarmored variants of enemies.
Mm-hmm.
Is it like, are the enemies really that easy to take down once you like figure out the puzzle to taking them down, or is it like I'm just gonna say it because I'm familiar with it, Dark Souls, where it's like I know how to take down a.
My controller turned off. I'm
sorry.
All right, but anyways,
so it doesn't happen again.
John, you've played it, right?
Was Horizon Zero Dawn?
Yeah.
No, I actually haven't. Because I am an exclusively Nintendo kind of guy. I have like an Xbox 360, but beyond that, I don't play beyond Nintendo. That's kind of why we're gonna have Blake over.
I'm super excited for John because Skyrim is finally coming to the Switch, and
no
John
mods,
is finally going to be able to play Skyrim. Well, I mean, I knew that Nintendo was never going to go for mods.
But
they were never going to go for mods.
Mm-hmm. But my question was, when you're taking down these enemies, is it like in Dark Souls? It's like, oh yeah, I know how to take down the Torch Hollow. Yeah, they're easy, and then all of a sudden the thing fucking leaps at you and like murders your face because they're torch. Or are they or is it like once you just like figure out how to defeat this thing, like they're just easy no matter what?
Yeah, with the exception of probably the Thunderjaws and the Stalkers, you learn their behaviors really quickly. I mean, once you run into the armored variants, because essentially, once you have faced a machine 2 or 3 times, then it's like, oh, the AI is learning that you have figured out how to kill it. So now you are only going to find armored variants of it. But once you've seen them, you learn their attack patterns. They're relatively easy to dodge and take down. But what was really cool about Horizon Zero Dawn is that all of the enemies have a very specific way that is best to take them on. And beyond that, they have turned what really is sort of one-dimensional combat into something that is really able to stand on its own, and something that is kind of a highlight of the game, even though it's so simple. Like, you have a bow and arrow and a slingshot, and that's it. But there are different variations of your bows and arrows and different variations of the slingshot with different kinds of effects, and that's how it really feels like the combat isn't super boring. But I enjoyed the hell out of that game. I put in 40 hours in under a week, and it was a midterm week. Wow. That was not a good midterm.
I mean, yeah, that means you're enjoying something. If it's just like, screw my future possibilities. Let's just
exactly.
That's how it was with me in Nier. By the way, Blake, you should get near. Second thing is
You mean
your
Butthole Simulator?
what?
Yo.
I'm sorry, what?
Butthole Simulator?
Butthole simulator. There's no
Yeah,
butthole.
There were early screenshots before the game came out, like super high res screenshots, and they took the camera around and showed the woman's fanny, but there was like shading around the butthole.
I've never heard of that. That's amazing.
Look,
Yeah, I think the No covered it, but it was hysterical.
I'm not saying that you should play the game just for the anime waifus, but you should play the game just for the anime waifus, and then the story will surprise you later on. Speaking of
I'm not
which,
saying
your
this, but I'm saying
camera's
exactly
tracking
this.
is the best. Your camera's tracking has made every sentence you've said like an action movie sequence.
Shaky cam. Go.
We're in Inception now.
I'm sorry if it's distracting to anyone.
You know,
It's quite a-
what's
it's quite
funny
a-
is
It's the Kinect. Thank you,
if you made
Xbox.
Blake frame
Yeah.
like the entire picture, like the entire frame of the stream, it just looks like it's a first-person perspective of Blake and only Blake.
Uh-huh.
It would just be like putting a VR experience.
Oh hell yeah!
Speaking
That's
of
a pretty
which-
boring VR.
Speaking of which, Mark, before the podcast, you were mentioning something about VR kind of wavering. What's going on with that?
Well, like, let me change the topic really quickly as I try and explain this. Like, VR in general has been like a weird subject. VR in general, because I don't know what else to put for the topic.
Before anything else, have either you two played a VR game like Blake and
No.
Nathan?
But I sold enough of them.
I suppose that works.
Oh,
Sorry.
Super Hot VR is on. Is it on?
Super.
Oh, it supports HTC. Oh shit! I'm gonna
On.
buy this later.
On.
In fact, I'm gonna put it in my
That's a
cart.
reference to Super Hot.
Yeah, it's the VR version of Super Hot, which apparently is really good.
Super Hot would strike me as a game that's very good in VR. I mean, the concept of it is brilliant anyways. It's like when you move, so does time.
Yeah, that's
So
a fun game.
Don't move a lot.
It needed a little bit more like towards the end, because I mean it was fun for like a good amount of times. Like, oh, you could cut fucking bullets out of the sky and then like throw shit at people and like break their gun on their face and then pick up their gun and shoot them in the face with their own gun. It's really fun. It's a great game. But like they also released the Rick and Morty game in VR. Okay, maybe I'm just wrong.
There's
but
a
like,
Rick and Morty game.
yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
that came
the-
out.
the
That
Rick
came
and
out a
Morty
bunch
game-
of months ago.
Oh, when did
Yeah,
this come
I
out?
watched Achievement Hunter play it, and damn, that game looks like fun.
It was released last month, I think.
Last month? I
Oh,
thought
no,
it was
two-
way before that.
4
Yeah, I
months
thought it was
ago.
less recent than that too.
4 months ago. Just kidding. April 20th.
I was about
Um,
to say.
Look.
Hey, 20.
um,
But
I mean, VR has
I
kind
like
of.
the chat right now. Super hot, super hot.
Well, what's funny is that it's two of the people on the podcast. It's not even like anybody else chiming in.
I know. I'm trying to pump up the crowd, and they're just all kind of
Well,
sitting there
maybe
picking
they
their
didn't.
noses.
Maybe they didn't play Super Hot.
Could be.
You know,
Right.
I mean, it is the most innovative shooter I played. Haha, memes. Anyway, when you play like a VR game, the majesty of it happens once, and then after that, it's, for me at least, it was kind of like putting on the headset, and it's like a lot of shit you have to do to like set it up, and then it gets really hot after like an hour of playing the game. That is
You
like
could say it gets super hot.
after like playing the game for like a little while, it kind of gets
Also, I hate you.
a little boring, and then it fucking hurts your neck. It's just very inconvenient.
Yeah, that's what I've heard. I have a friend who has the PlayStation VR, and she's like, I can really only play it for an hour and a half tops, and then the motion sickness and just the general soreness kicks in. Wow, that smashed in close up.
Yeah, that was great.
Perfect. It was like, he is talking. I'm like, okay.
I mean, and PSVR is actually like a pound or two lighter than my fucking HTC Vive, which you're supposed to use while standing up, which is even more inconvenient.
Gosh, so big.
Yeah, I mean, but the range of motion that you're supposed to have with the HTC Vive is still much greater than you're supposed to have with the PSVR. Because
Yeah.
at this point, most PSVR games, it's like you would play this sitting on your couch.
Yeah, I mean,
Like
you
the
have
advantage
to
to
pretty
this
much.
is
Yeah.
being able to look in 180 degrees. You can do 360, but you really wouldn't.
Yeah, because like the camera can't track when you're facing the other way.
Yeah, I mean, it can because there is one light bar on the back of the headset.
Oh, that's like it's not perfect.
But
though.
yeah, it's not. But I mean, that's kind of what you're paying for. Like it's still expensive, but it is the bargain of the PSVR headset or of the VR headsets. Just because with the HTC Vive and the Oculus, they're both over $600, and then you need about $1,000 worth of PC to be able to run the damn thing. Whereas with the PSVR, $600 gets you the console and the entire headset. Like $600 gets you a fully functional VR setup.
Yeah.
So for it is a bargain relative to everything else, but yeah, that's my 2 cents on the prices at least.
One thing that has always bothered me about PSVR in general is so there's a really weird feeling you get in VR when you move without moving. And depending on how realistic it is, because I don't know, it doesn't seem to be a huge problem, but I have heard it mentioned a couple times with PSVR, is like when you're moving in like say Resident Evil, and like when you click the stick to like snap your camera because you can only look so far, and like fucking flicks between perspectives, and like when you move it feels like you're sliding, and when you're sitting down that can be a really weird brain thing that can like make you really dizzy if you're not used to that. And especially people who are not experienced with VR or are not like avid gamers, if you're like, hey, check out this cool VR game, and then you're like, oh, just slide forward, and they're like, fuck, I'm gonna fart, like barf now. Like
I'm gonna fart now.
I'm gonna fart now. Yeah.
There's that great video of a guy doing a PSVR. No, it was an HTC Vive demo in a store, but it's like a rock climbing one.
Oh, and
so
then he
he's
fell
like,
over?
And then he falls off the cliff and like leans forward to grab the cliff, but he completely face plants. And it's the best video.
I've seen that one. It's really good. And the dude who was like supervising was like, you just like broke our headset. Like, thanks.
Yeah. It's like, that'll be $800. Thank you. And it's like, but why though?
It was a good video. But yeah, I mean,
because you played that one game, I forget what it was,
Windlands?
where you have the 2 grappling hooks.
Windlands.
Oh,
What's it called?
Windlands.
Windlands.
Yeah.
Which is a lot of fun, but it really messes with your perspective, probably more so than the rock climbing did.
Oh, absolutely. Because in Windlands, you're like running and jumping and doing parkour in a first-person perspective while your feet aren't moving, and you're like, this is fucking. I almost fell over during playing that, and then I had Steph play that, and she almost fell over. And then John played it, and you almost fell over, but then you kept playing it, and we were like, you can stop at any time, and you were like, no, I'm gonna, and we're like, you don't even know where you're going, and you're like, I don't care, I'm gonna beat this game. I was like, okay. Jesus Christ.
Sorry, I get intense when it comes to video games.
The thing is, that game is like on PC already hard, like with a mouse and keyboard. And then to be able to do anything at all in VR is basically a joke because it's not feasible. We all miss 7.
VR, we all miss 7. I was about to write the 7 is missed by all of us.
But yeah, there was an earlier comment that I would like to address. Someone asked, is VR dying? Honestly, I think it is. Like, I haven't personally played a VR game, but right now it still to me feels like a little bit of a gimmick. Like it's very cool and it's leaps and bounds ahead of the attempts at virtual reality that came in like the late 90s. Like
Virtual Boy.
Virtual Boy was even earlier than the late 90s.
No, it was late 90s.
It was definitely
Was it
90s.
late
It might have been
90s?
early 90s.
I know it was 90s, but I thought it was earlier.
No, it was late 90s. It was around the time of N64, I think.
Oh, okay.
Let me look it up.
But like it's leaps and bounds ahead of where it was, but I think in terms of serious gaming at least, it's still a gimmick. Like you need your console or computer still needs so much horsepower to run high fidelity VR.
I think it's getting there, though.
You're absolutely right, it's getting there, but I just don't. It's still a bit of a gimmick to me. Like I'm not going out tomorrow to throw $400 at a PSVR.
Virtual Boy came out in 1995, so it was basically around the time of N64.
Mid-90s, everybody's right. Yeah. Yay!
Mid-90s. Yay!
It was around
it
the
is
time
equal
of
parts
Nintendo
late
64.
and early 90s.
Exactly.
Yeah, so I did want to put my 2 cents in on that subject. When I first saw HTC Vive,
it is hard to say.
all this other shit coming out, my first time that I ever noticed it was Northern Lion was playing Amazing Machine or something like that.
Fantastic contraption.
Yes, same difference, the same words, synonyms.
Just given the real name, that's all.
Yeah, and it was just it looked cool, and I'm just why can't I play this on my computer? And it comes back to how I felt about the Wii and the Wii U, and to some extent the Switch. They have this motion control in them that it's okay, well, we have to find a way to now incorporate this motion control into our games. That causes 2 problems. It's either, a lot of times it's unintuitive, although they've been getting a lot better recently. But the other thing is now requires this particular hardware in order to play this game, so it can't be a cross-platform game. Nintendo's doing really well with having a lot of its own games that's specific just for its consoles, but it sucks in a way that I'm that game looks fun, but I don't own a Nintendo Wii U or Switch. Right. I have a computer. I don't have a lot of money. This is the reason I don't have a VR system. I'm using my 9-year-old computer that was super souped up, and I invested a lot of money into, and it works fine for 99% of everything that I buy still out on the market today. But I can't play things that involve VR or involve motion control systems that are Nintendo exclusives. So right. It's been a gimmick. In my mind, it's always been a gimmick, and I'm probably not the only person out there with that mindset. And it's kind of like a catch-22. Yeah. There's going to be people out there who are that's a gimmick. I'm not going to buy into it. And because we're not buying into that, it's going to stay a gimmick because there's a certain section of the market that's never going to get into this, and it's not going to be a fully popular idea until everybody gets into it, and people aren't going to invest in it.
Think of it like this. With Nintendo, they have been awful at catering to both sides of that argument. Because they you're right, in the Wii times they would have such a gimmicky system for every single game. God, what was I watching? I was watching Game Grumps do Sonic Unleashed, and the entire game is Waggle Tech, and because it was a cross-platform game, it was made for 360, PS3. It didn't have to be that way, but they made it that way exclusively for the Wii. There was something about those systems that just made it you have to do what was it called? Waggle Tech, some people call it. Yeah, well, that's what it was. And then what's been surprising is watching how Nintendo's been handling it now. So I was playing ARMS, and I was talking to Greg about it last week, that the motion controls, which are much more improved from the days of Wii and Wii U and everything, they actually move pretty well, but it's not the way people play. They actually play with a remote, and you can actually play both ways viably. It's not...
Yep.
It's no longer really a gimmick. It's more of an option instead of a gimmick.
Yeah.
I mean, it still is a gimmick, but it's still considered a good option because of the responsiveness that it's still there. They're still putting the effort into it.
Yeah, and if I pick up a Switch, I know that the first accessory I'm gonna buy for it is the Pro Controller. Just because I'm so used to my Xbox One controller to my PS4 controller, which is over there, and I'm not gonna go fucking get it right now. Hey, that one.
Yeah.
Where I get. Oh yeah, no, it is that one. You are directly above me. But I'm so used to having that handheld controller that I think the Joy-Cons might irritate me. So unless I'm
surprised.
using it in handheld mode, I'm probably gonna be using the Pro controller.
Yeah.
You
I
Blake,
think-
you might be surprised actually. Because it comes with a hand like a remote form. That
Oh,
actually
that's true.
works
It does
out.
have the remote form. I would
It takes some
probably
getting used
rely
to,
on
I'll
that.
say.
Like I probably wouldn't use the two Joy-Cons freeform, like the
Yeah.
guy in the first Switch trailer does on the airplane. Like he's just sitting there free-handing it, and I'm like, "You're a lunatic, sir." That is
Sorry.
not the. There is a correct way to do this, and you are doing it the not that way.
I will
Mark,
say
we keep
that
cutting you off. Sorry, buddy.
yeah, it happens.
It's all good.
I will say that at first I would agree in some ways that VR can be a little gimmicky, and there are so many games right now out there that are gimmicks that I could see why someone would be like, yeah, VR is just a silly little thing. It's just a little tech demo.
Farpoint.
What?
Farpoint.
Farpoint. Oh, well, I had never played that, but
Don't.
so there's another game that I played with pretty much everyone I've shown VR to called Waltz of the Wizard, and there was a moment in it.
Is this the lab you showed me?
Yes, the
Yeah.
one where there's one that's like it kind of like enters you into like a pseudo horror thing, and here the moment when I realized that VR is not just a gimmick was when I saw everyone's reactions to that. All the people who watch like horror movies and stuff, they were all like, "Oh yeah, like this is like whatever." But then when they went into that game, there's a moment where you're like in a dark hallway, and you're like looking around, and then you hear like a door creak open on the far side of the room, and all around you are like weapons and shit, and you're like, "What the fuck is happening?" And I think everyone who told me like they were like super like whatever horror movies, no problem. They were the people who were like, I want out of this right now. Mark, help me.
Yeah.
And then I just went
Yeah.
dead silent and let them like experience it. And then to myself, I played it when I was by myself. And when that happened, I picked up a sword and shield and I was like, I'm fucking ready. Let's go. Like, that was fun. And seeing people's reactions, like their genuine either fear or like their like fucking fight or flight instincts at that moment made me realize that like this is something more than just like emotion control. This is something that can evoke actual emotional reactions out of people and not just in a cheap way. Like it was
Yeah.
really cool seeing that. And there are certain games that are completely phoned in, like the Star Wars tech demo.
Yeah.
There's one that's like, oh, fucking droids are falling down. You get a blaster and you shoot them. It's like every other shooter VR game out there. There's another one that just came out called Front Defense. It's kind of been hyped up since like 2016's E3, where they were showing off a bunch of HTC Vive demos, and it's like a World War II wave-based survival game. And I'm like, I don't care. Like this doesn't mean anything to me. But then there are some games that are gonna maybe change things for that. Like I really like this game Modbox. Think of it like Gary's Mod, but you can interact and mess with all of the things in the game, and that's like really fun to me because I love it has a physicality to it where like there have been a couple of times in like this one shitty zombie game I played where a zombie would be right behind me and I'd hear him growl in my headphones and I'd turn around and be like actually freak out for a second because like there was a fucking zombie behind me and it felt like it was real. Like it's pretty cool that kind of stuff can happen. But yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I think the only thing that really will change VR for me is once they actually get like lighter, feel like there's very little there. Because I know like the few experiences that I've had with VR at your place, we had Shelby on to do a couple of episodes, and the entire time it was irritating her and her eye and just constantly just weighing down on her head. And I occasionally would feel that for myself. So I think that's like the first thing to going full immersion, because if you can still feel all of that on your head, it kind of changes your mentality.
I think it'll be a lot better when it's either more accessible with like a very light equipment, something that's like that's just a matter of time, honestly, before they can fit all that processing power and like those screens and pixel density into a much smaller, lighter headset. That's not going to take very long, but I can see it happening soon. And then the setup is the only other thing. But once that stuff gets nailed down, then it's a matter of making it cheaper and accessible to everyone. But once those things happen, I could see it going somewhere really, really great.
Yeah, optimizing that kind of stuff is our job, Blake.
And I mean, with the explosion of something like Pokemon Go, I think it's worth also thinking about AR, augmented reality, or alternate reality, something that adds an additional layer to the actual world. I feel like that is somewhere else that the video game world could go, because Pokemon Go exploded. And I mean, say what you will about the fallout from that game, but that was the most downloaded app for about a month, right?
It was.
Like,
and it literally bumped up their stock by 30% when it came
Which is
out.
funny because Nintendo had nothing to do with that. Nothing to do with it. It was a licensing deal for them. They're just like, yeah, sure, use Pokemon, and used like all of the different Pokemon. And they're like, cool, we're going to make money off of it. You guys aren't going to make anything. And then Nintendo's stock prices soared. And then their investors were like, oh, wait, you mean you didn't make Pokemon Go? And then they fell. And I'm like, people are dumb. The app even says Niantic Labs. It doesn't even say Nintendo on it. And I love
like,
that.
I don't think you understand what just happened. It zoomed
just
in on
following
you.
me?
No, it just zoomed in on you the moment you made like the
Smash.
critical point of your statement.
Yes. Perfect timing.
Kinect is getting self-aware.
Can we get my Kinect to have the Oscar for cinematography? I need to sit on a pillow because my chair is impossibly hard.
Are you ready for another hour and a half of your chair being impossibly hard with a meh pillow on there?
Well, that's why I'm sitting on a pillow. And then when my butt starts to get sore again, I'll sit on another pillow. I have one ready and waiting. It's in the shot right now.
Oh.
Pillows ready to go.
Pillow's ready.
Oh, damn. So, yeah, I would love to see VR improve and like get more notoriety. I would just hate it if that became the future of video games flat out. I don't know how I'd feel about that at all.
I don't think there's ever going to be a point where it's like the future of video games. But I mean, like, there is like the virtual desktop shit in VR. I've been messing with that a little bit. Not too much because it's really annoying to keep the headset on for like super long. But basically, you can like, I can sit in this chair and then have like a monitor the size of the fucking Great Wall of China and play, like, watch YouTube on it, and then have Overwatch.
Yeah, that's one thing that I like about the PSVR is that it does have a cinema mode. So you can just lay in bed and like watch a movie. I had a coworker while I was at GameStop. He said that he watched Avatar in the VR headset, and during the flying scenes where they're like going between rocks and over the canyon, he's like, "Guys, I lost my fucking mind."
That would suck when you're like buzzed or drunk, having to go through like like a scene like that in VR.
So fast.
Yeah,
sorry,
are
quick
spinning,
question.
You don't need that. Yep.
Quick question, Mark. Did Brunette-alicious change her name to Blonde-alicious?
Yes.
No, that's not Lynn.
Sorry, they're the
that's
same.
Nil.
They're two different people. One is the evil twin of the other.
You got to figure out which one's the evil one.
Got it. Got it.
No, 100%. She just changed her name.
Got it.
No, Toastif, what are you talking about? You're crazy.
I know. I don't know what the hell I'm talking about ever.
How dare you?
I just wanted to mention.
How dare you?
Ten Stripe Tiger did bring up a good point early on in the VR talk. She'd mentioned that it's VR at the moment has the issue of the hardware. Like we've adopted, especially with the Switch, we've adopted touchscreen pretty readily, whereas like I think it's the hardware that's holding back VR in general. Like you did touch on it a little earlier too, with the like it's this big bulky thing on your face. But just it's also something that we haven't, as a society, gotten used to. I mean, like smartphones popped in, and more people got them, and they're using it for utilitarian purposes. Whereas VR headsets, it's like they're solely being made as a game platform, as opposed to like this is something that everybody uses, where, maybe that's where augmented reality might usher in another generation of augmented reality, virtual reality console type setup.
I mean, for augmented reality, like Google Glass was already like bringing that. It's like, here is augmented reality, but in a very practical sense. So it's like, we're going to have your GPS right there. You're always going to know where you are. You're going to have messages pop up. I think that it's absolutely going to be a thing. It just needs to not cost $300,000 for a set of glasses.
Does it really cost that much?
No. I think the Google Glass, when they were giving people the opportunity to buy them, they were like $1,500. Like, it's not $300,000, but like $1,500 is a lot for a fucking pair of glasses.
Very true.
I would have wanted that, honestly. God, Google Glass.
Yeah, except then they were like, yeah, you bought them, except they're ours again now, so send them back.
Yeah, and we don't have any support for them anymore, so good luck.
That's like when I had a Pebble watch and they went out of business, and they were like, oh, yeah, if you sent in your watch to have us, like, do maintenance on it, sorry, you're not getting it back ever.
Sorry, it's ours forever now.
I can't imagine that. So I'm curious what you guys think then, because it feels like, with the PSVR, that maybe Xbox might try and go into that market, because basically those two are the main competitors. Do you think Xbox is ever going to have like an Xbox exclusive kind of setup?
I don't think so. Microsoft has talked at E3. I was just about to mention that at the last few E3s. They didn't this year, but they've talked about Microsoft HoloLens, which is absolutely AR.
It was all super fake. It was like super. It
is all super fake, and like there were analysts that like talked about the potential price of it, and they're all estimating like it's going to be $3,000. Because I mean, it's essentially a high power PC that you wear on your face.
There's no way.
Hey, what do you know? You can't make a high-power PC small enough to fit on your face.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where they're at right now in terms of development for the for HoloLens. But it feels like, in terms of the conceptual horses, Microsoft is backing AR more than they're backing VR at this point. I think if they were going to try their hand at VR, this was the E3 for them to talk about it.
Yeah.
But they had the Xbox One X to talk about, which is such a fucking stupid name. But we can get into that later.
Last time Xbox tried a gimmick, they adopted the idea of motion controls. Yep.
With Kinect.
Hey, the Kinect, it's motion.
I mean, it's a
following
good
me,
camera, but
now.
like that's about it. Though.
Yeah, no, and honestly, I
Kinect.
only have my Kinect for voice commands. So like when I walk into my room, I can be like, "Hey, this word, turn on."
There was an episode of Parks and Recreation where Andy said the word Xbox during my Netflix show, and when I was watching it on Xbox, it like opened the command. Yeah. It was great, so I couldn't ever watch that one part of the show.
No, there are great compilation videos on YouTube of a guy who would get the username Xbox and then a command. So for one video, his username was Xbox Bing. And so people would say his username, and they'd be like, "Xbox Bing, get out of my way!" And then it would shoot them over to a search window. And then there was one guy. It was like Xbox. Oh, I'm not saying your username, fam. Like he got on before he said it.
Can we play a game where we try to guess Blake's Xbox command?
I mean, like it's Cortana. Like is the.
Oh.
Like they changed the Xbox, so it's not like it's a specific phrase. Maybe you can, but I haven't changed any of mine. But so the reason I wasn't saying is because if you say "Hey," then her name, it will open the command window. Just because I'm using my Xbox for Skype right now.
Hey Cortana, shut off!
I mean, you're in my head.
Damn it! I know.
Hey Blake, shut off.
I should have said, "Are you sure?"
Does it do that now?
Are you sure? So when you blank, turn off.
I think your controller died again.
Bye.
Hey Cortana, turn off!
Cortana, change the batteries. What? Can we?
Instant, I said turn.
Controller turned off.
Ooh.
So just to throw that out there.
Oh.
Yeah.
Why is it? My controller is not coming back on.
I mean, we can hear you better now, though. Oh, just kidding.
What
Hello?
about now? Can we hear you?
Hello.
I seem to have lost audio.
We can
Oh.
hear you.
Can you guys hear me? Nod
You
yes
got
or
the
no.
audio out.
Okay. But I can't hear you.
I'm gonna rock
Figure
out
out what the
for a
hell is
second.
going on.
Okay. Just kidding.
Shall I
Not that
switch
great.
headsets?
What the heck? Why were you trying to shake off your headphones?
Don't worry about it, dude.
No, that's weird. Because I'm worried that if I turn you guys on my actual speakers, there will be a horrendous echo.
We'll yell up to Cortana to turn you off.
You guys say something?
Hello.
Yo.
Hello. Hello.
I'm gonna leave and then come back in because I think it might be my internet, but we will see. Oh,
Hello.
what the fuck?
We're in the walls,
Is going
Blake.
Help!
We see you at night.
Oh,
Oh shit! He fucked
You turned
all the
into
screen regions.
A me again. An Xbox me.
All of the screen regions are super fucked now.
Whoa!
Oh. I just saw that.
Everybody except for you, Mark. You are apparently
Well, that's because I routed my camera through not Skype because that would be more reliable. Oh, here we go. Look at this. Look at this madness here.
I'm entering the Blake zone.
No, now John is half Blake, half John,
Oh.
and half
Oh,
half
no.
Toaster.
Half Blake, half John, half Toaster. John Blake Toaster.
All right, we're gonna leave it like this until Blake comes back. Oh,
All right. Well,
thank
Hey,
God.
There we go. Okay.
Whoa.
Welcome
Whoa.
Yeah, but no, for some reason I completely lost audio for you guys and couldn't hear
That's
anything.
fine.
Oh my God.
I'm
that
sorry.
was
Hey.
Your
mean.
So I
connect
saw-
is making
I
us
saw you
very
guys-
happy.
Completely cracking up and just not understanding what they are laughing at.
No, your connect like, zoomed in on you as you were making your point again. So it was just like zoomed out and then it zoomed into you and it's just like it might be my internet and you just turned around to go fix it.
Yeah, no, so I left and then turned off my controller and then turned it back on and it worked. So I have no idea what's happening, but at least you guys could still hear me.
Oh, here we go. Hold on. Let me try and get what Blake's got going here because I'm jealous.
What do you mean?
Hold on. Just you guys keep talking. It's all good.
What? So confused. So I wanted to ask you to, since Mark is going to be doing his thing, what you guys think about Nintendo not even being competition to PlayStation or Xbox, if you guys think that's the case.
I mean, I think it's absolutely the case. It's
So, before
feel-
anything else, Blake, Nathan, have you heard this argument yet or no?
I mean, like, is it the argument that the hardware is like so lagged behind to the others?
No,
Because I wanted to make my own argument about that, where Xbox and PS4, like the PlayStation, like Sony, are no longer really consoles compared to Nintendo. Nintendo is like the only one doing its own thing with
Yeah.
a fuck ton of exclusives that are actually really fun. I mean,
Yeah.
wasn't there like something from E3, like some dude from Nintendo is like, if it's not fun, why bother?
Oh, I
think-
didn't know that. That makes perfect sense coming from Nintendo.
Like, that makes me just be like, yeah, you know, that's true. Like, all the exclusives on Xbox and PS4 haven't really tickled my funny bone, but everything that Nintendo comes out with
zooming
is
in and
like,
out.
wow.
I'd be jealous
Yeah.
of my auto zoom.
No, like what you're saying absolutely makes sense. I agree with you, but what I was gonna say is that because basically PlayStation and Xbox are in full competitive mode for the market, and kind of Nintendo became a background niche kind of thing. Whenever Xbox and PlayStation got interviewed, they only viewed each other as a competition and Nintendo as a complementary console because
And-
of how much cheaper it is and
Yeah,
because
and I would absolutely agree with that. Like, just with my experience of selling fucking Switches at GameStop, is that most people who were buying a Switch already had either a PS4 or an Xbox One. Like, Nintendo makes such great games, but also for the last many years hasn't had the third-party support to compete with Xbox One and Xbox and PlayStation, that Nintendo really has carved out their own niche market and are supplementary consoles. So people that are buying Switches or buying 3DSs already have consoles from Microsoft or Sony. So I feel like they're really not competition. I mean, but that said, it's because they're also not trying to compete.
Yeah.
Like, yes, Toastus mentioned that their hardware isn't there, which they're really not, but it doesn't have to be, because their games are a fucking blast to play. Like, there's a reason people still go back and play Super Smash Brothers Melee on
Kirby Air Ride.
Kirby Air Ride, or even going all the way back and playing Mario Kart 64. Like, it's inferior hardware, but the games are still a blast. Like, that's the reason we have things like the NES Classic selling out fucking everywhere, and the SNES Classic, which will be selling out fucking everywhere. There's still a demand for games that are just fun. Like, they don't need to look hyper realistic if they're a blast to play.
I could argue that no matter what game it is, though, it would be better in 60 frames per second and on the PC.
No, I did want to add to
PC
my
masterpiece,
reason for
nothing else.
Yeah, let's hear it.
I wanted to add on to my reason for viewing the Nintendo as my personal choice, and like everybody else is not even in the competition. I am a hashtag or /r/PC Master Race.
Hell yeah, boy!
I haven't had a console since I was in college, and that would be 6 years ago. And if I were to pick up a console, like if I get the money, it's gonna go to a Nintendo console, either the Wii U or the Switch, because
they've got games you can't get on the PC.
Yeah, because of that, and also because the stuff that is exclusive to the other consoles doesn't interest me as much as most of the stuff on the Nintendo consoles. And
Yeah,
absolutely.
absolutely.
Especially with Nintendo doing a lot of this virtual console type stuff that they've been, like, I think that was on the Wii U, right, where you could I think they're changing it up so it's not nearly as open, but you used to be able to hey, I really liked Super Metroid. You could get Super Metroid for the Wii U. That, I mean, yeah, sure, I could, as a friggin' PC person, I could go get an emulator, but I really like that game, and if I wanted to show support for any of the console companies, I would show support to Wii, to Nintendo and the Wii U, and just, that's where my money would go.
Having owned a Wii U, I'm going to go ahead and say it's an investment worth making. There are a ton of good games for it. Just make sure you have friends to play with, because there's not a lot of good solo games for it.
Well, looks like I'm not gonna get a Wii U.
Yeah, because I mean, I'm
don't have any friends.
a big purveyor of the sentiment of, if you are going to do it right, which is why I do not have a high power PC, because when I get a high power PC, I want it to be one that I've built. And I don't have $1,400 to invest into all of the hardware right now, which is why I have the Xbox One and the PS4, because I have done those right, because it's it's a 1 terabyte Xbox One and it's a 1 terabyte PS4. So for the hardware I have, I've done it right.
2 terabyte PC right here, mister.
Well, I mean, technically speaking, my Xbox One is 3 terabytes at this point, just because that stupid green thing up on the top was a hard drive. And I have the Xbox One X pre-ordered, which I have many air quotes around it, because what I actually have pre-ordered is the collector's edition of Assassin's Creed Origins, which the store manager at that GameStop is going to cancel and roll over to the Xbox One X as soon as it's available.
Yay.
Yay
So
for
how
connections.
bad are you going to be talking about them?
Not too bad, but once we get there, my experience working for them was actually a fairly good one. But I was very clear with my store manager that if I come back to GameStop, it's because I'm taking over the entire fucking company and running it completely differently. Because the way it's being run right now is, how would you say, into the ground. So, but like I am confident in that right now with my career, I am done with retail. I will not be returning to retail.
So what was that?
Hashtag retail problems annoyed me more than hashtag GameStop problems.
Yeah, retail is irritating. But what was interesting though is like seeing that analogy of GameStop in comparison to Blockbuster. Because you know how you can digitally download nowadays, and that's a lot of what the market is. So GameStop has been kind of slowly crumbling down, and unless you adapt like Netflix did, which, good God, did Netflix adapt? It used to be only a DVD delivery service, which then like started changing into, hey, we stream other people's stuff sometimes, and then it became, we make our own stuff now, and then it became an exclusivity thing. Netflix evolved. Netflix evolved versus Blockbuster not, and Blockbuster went down hard. So I feel like if GameStop doesn't change its approach, then
yeah, I mean, at this point, I think the smart decisions on the part of the GameStop bigwigs was partnering with companies like Funko, like ThinkGeek, because towards the end of my employment with GameStop, we were predominantly collectible sales. I had a district manager that was bigwigs. I had a district manager at GameStop that told us to push the Funko Pop figures as hard as possible, because I think this isn't an official stat from GameStop or anything. This is my speculation based on what they had us sell. I think that the return on the Pop figures is close to 50%. So shit. When I, as a GameStop employee, sell you a $12 Funko Pop, I think GameStop sees about $6 of that. Whereas when I sell you a brand new $60 game, GameStop sees about $3 of that at most. So that's also why they tell us to push pre-owned as hard as we do. So when you feel like you go to a GameStop and they're always pushing the pre-owned stuff down your throat, it's because that's how the company stays alive.
Well, it's, I don't know, man.
Please stop.
I do want to say, like, as far as like those things where they're like, do you want these warranties? Do you want pre-orders? Blah 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 blah. Like, I'm just like, dude, I'm here to buy a fucking gift card for my honestly, nephew.
Yeah,
like,
yeah. It's
up.
just because we are told to mention that every single time.
I know. I feel bad for you.
And they always highlight the survey at the bottom of your receipt, and they're like, "Hey, if you go on that, you can win a $100 gift card." If you take that survey, it says, did they talk to you about pre-orders? Did they talk to you about pre-owned? Did they talk to you about trades? Like, it affects our employment with GameStop if we don't mention that stuff. Or rather, didn't mention that stuff. But yeah, it's really important because that's their circle of life. So that's how they as a company make money, with pro members, which essentially get you back into the store to buy more games, which makes them more money, and then saves you on pre-owned, which makes them even more money than if you were to buy new. Like, it's all cyclical.
Yeah.
Which is why it's a circle of life.
Which is why once I got a PC, I have not walked into a GameStop since to buy Final Fantasy 15, and that was it.
Yeah.
Well, even at that, I would just get it on Amazon.
Last time I was in a GameStop was to get rid of my Xbox 360 and all the games, and got
nice, a whole $20 in store credit.
Yeah, I got like enough to
$20,
pay for
generous.
half of my current headset that I use for my PC.
Yeah, for the Xbox 360s, like the highest and the most you will ever get at GameStop for like the top end 360 is like $40. but that's assuming it's like the 500 gig elite and it's pristine. So yeah, I mean, like people are always like, "Oh, GameStop trade-ins are such a ripoff." It's like,
Margins.
yeah, kinda, but it's because they're providing a service. They're not a charity. Like this is literally how they make money. Yes, you can sell your shit elsewhere, but they can give you cash now for it.
Yeah,
so
you're not going to get much more at a yard sale selling it yourself. Especially
exactly.
when, like it was the Xbox 360, it was like 5 years into the Xbox One's fucking life.
Yeah, I was one of
When
the
I sold
very
mine.
few GameStop employees that would like tell people what their shit was worth. Not if they're like bringing in copies of like Madden or NBA or anything like that, but if they're
fuck those people.
but if they're bringing me like a copy of Melee, which I did have, or Heart Gold and Soul Silver, I would tell them, I'm like, look, we are only going to give you like $17 for this. You can sell it for nearly 80 online.
Ugh,
Like I can give you $17 here and now. That's the most I'm going to be able to do. You can get more for this. It is worth more than I'm giving you. Do you want to go through with this trade? And honestly, it was a 50-50 split after that of people who said, thank you for letting me know. I didn't know what this is worth. I'm going to sell it online. Or people who are like, you know, man, I really need the cash right here, right now. And I'm like, cool. Sounds good.
got to get that fix.
Exactly.
Well, it's amazing.
Or
It's amazing what
most
like
people
console
like,
games.
oh yeah, I need gas.
Yeah, well, it's amazing what console games end up doing so, having or being worth so much after so much time. Like Melee, for example, is one of those games where it's just like it's $80 flat right there. I mean, even both console versions of Fire Emblem, both the GameCube and Wii versions, are worth like $90, $100 per now.
I went into Jonathan. There's a mall in our hometown that has a
I've
game
seen
portal in it.
I've seen it.
They had
It is great.
a sealed copy of 007 for the N64
Oh shit!
for $170.
Fucking
Sounds
Mario
right.
Party 5
I
is
was-
130.
You know how much you could get for that sealed copy at GameStop? You couldn't get anything because it was sealed.
Yep, exactly. I mean,
No
that,
shit. That's so dumb.
Yeah, no, I had a
it's
demo
to do with,
like
it's because of our pawn light. It's because of
They
Oh,
can
controller died.
legal act from the state taken against them. Fuck, my controller shut off again.
that's weird.
I'll finish this sentence and then see if
but their pawn license allows them to deal in pre-owned merchandise. So the state of California can actually take legal action against a GameStop that trades in products. Because essentially with the trade-ins and everything like that, GameStop is a pawn shop.
Yeah.
And you need a very specific pawn license for what you are allowed to deal in. So GameStop's pawn license says they're allowed to deal in pre-owned merchandise, pre-owned video game merchandise. So it's not because they don't want to take your new shit and sealed shit. It's that they are legally not allowed to.
Yeah, I figured there's like an actual legal reason. It was really silly because they were like, yeah, even if you walk out of the shop and like opening up the package and come back in, I've already seen it. I can't take it. And I was just like, it was like
Yeah,
some,
it's
it was
because
like
the
a racing
GameStops
game
ha-
that
it's
came
because-
with the
yeah.
console.
Yeah, it's because GameStop's all have cameras, and so if they audit the store and then go back and see the footage, and they're like, "Oh, this guy came in with a new game, left, and then 15 minutes came in with it unwrapped and traded it in," that's going to be an issue. So what I would usually tell people is, go home, unwrap it, play it, and bring it back. But go home and unwrap it, and play it, and bring it back.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was. I mean, like the game was worth like 17 cents or something. I was like, I don't even care. Like, I'm like, where's your trash? I'm just gonna throw it out because it's taking up space in my house. Like,
Yep.
And I was
Yep.
like trying to be as like non-confrontational and non-angry as possible when I said that to them. I was just like, yeah, I understand.
It's like, yeah,
I just don't want
I
it.
just throw this away. I don't want it.
Yeah, well. Anyway, it's time for the Totally Real News Hour. Mark, go.
EA has announced their new game, Castle Souls, where you can meet all of your favorite Illumination Entertainment characters, such as Gru and EB from Not Zootopia. In stores soon.
The fuck?
Love
any
I
of that?
just
All right, I have one.
Go.
This just in, Ubisoft has decided instead of Far Cry 5 to instead release Far Cry Primal 2. Because, there wasn't enough clubbing random animals. So that's a thing now. So coming out this February will be Far Cry Primal 2, not Far Cry 5, as you were thinking it would.
GameStop, realizing that it's going under with its physical sales, has decided, I'm going to try and buy the virtual console. It didn't work. They couldn't buy it.
In a desperate money grab, EA has already announced on disc DLC for Castle Souls the Minions update, where you can play as minions.
Did you just say that?
No.
That's an addition.
I've got one.
Goodness gracious.
This just
Put me at
in.
Microsoft. Oh, you're up. Go for it.
This just in, now available on Steam. Steam! It's just hot water. Steam.
Sony and Microsoft had decided, fuck it, what's competition? And have decided to come together for one super console. They own the market. They own everyone. And thank you for joining us for the Super Real, Totally
Apple.
Real News Hour.
This just in, the Microsoft and Sony Super Console has been broken up by the American anti-monopolization laws.
No, Nintendo's still in competition.
Not really.
Well, that's like this whole iTunes and Zune thing. Like, Zune's not a viable competition, but it's there. Dude,
this just in. Ouya has announced that it is coming out with a new console to compete against the Super Console. It is now running on the iOS instead of the Android OS.
Nice.
And instead
Out
of the
there,
Ouya,
guys.
it is now called the Ooh.
Ooh.
The Ooh. That was a bad choice to invest in that company.
I was.
That's
do you know it's
a
pronounced?
bold title.
Ooh,
The Ouya?
mistakes.
Oh my god!
The
I was not
resounding
expecting-
A fact check on that
The
one
resounding answer to can you crowdfund a console? No, you can't.
you can crowdfund a Mega Man remake flop, but
Nope. I mean, no, it can go for sale. But
From what I understand, that actually did really well when it was not the Wii U version.
the Ouya or Mighty Number 9?
No, Mighty Number 9. Apparently, there's a game that plays tangentially to it. I forget what it's called, but they're making it for the Switch too. And
Mighty-
apparently, it plays.
the
It's not Mighty
reviews-
Number. What's it called? I'll look it up. But there is a game.
Because the reviews from Mighty Number 9 came out to a resounding meh.
Wait, John, did it have the character from the Mighty Number 9 in it?
it's Mighty Gunvolt.
Mighty Gunvolt.
Thank you.
That game is
Which is
actually pretty neat.
two different fan games. There's Mighty Number 9 and there's Gunvolt. They're both Mega Man fan games, and they've combined them because Gunvolt's really good. Mighty Number 9 suck donkey dick.
And you can get the character from Mighty Number 9 in Gunvolt, and it's a
Yeah.
much better game in every regard.
And Mighty Gunvolt burst.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, it's not like they didn't understand. This shit sucked. We need to team up with somebody who didn't suck.
I was watching an hour-long video about all the shit that was wrong with Mighty Number 9. Aside from technical issues of the game not running properly, it was more of just poor level design, poor game design in general.
Yeah.
And it brought up a lot of really good points compared to Mega Man X series and what they did
Yeah.
right.
Mhm.
This is a huge regression in the Mega Man type games, and whereas Mighty
Number
Gunvolt,
2.
but Mighty Gunvolt Burst is it says it's more Gunvolt based, which a lot of people said the gameplay in Gunvolt's way better. So
It's
like,
more true
there's a
to the
lot of
Mega
people-
Man thing too.
No truer Mega Man than 2. Mega Man X was the best Mega Man.
I never got around to playing a Mega Man game,
Same.
which is unfortunate. Like they did come out with a Wii exclusive one. I think it was Mega Man. I want to say 10. I want to say it was something like that, but they did come out with a Wii exclusive one for only the Virtual Console.
Oh, it might be Tiger.
I don't know. I don't remember. All I remember is that they were pitching that for the longest time. When I had first gotten the Wii, like every time I opened up the eShop, they'd just be like, "Hey, check out this new Virtual Console exclusive Mega Man that came out." Ooh.
Mega Nyan. Stupid.
You should have seen last week when Mark became a furry.
Toastus,
Ooh.
did you watch Hyperlinked?
Nope. I
Oh
just
my
got that
God!
word stuck in my head now. Thank you.
You
What's
guys
going
need to
on?
watch. You guys need to watch Hyperlinked because it's the best.
No.
The best show you will ever watch. Published by Disney. YouTube Red. First episode's available for free. Go watch it. It's the best thing you'll ever watch. It's like if iCarly
Hashtag sponsor.
and Drake and
Hashtag not a
Josh
sponsor.
had a baby and it was a better show than both of those shows combined times 8. And
Does it
if
have
you
Miranda Cosgrove?
they don't need her. Dude.
Nah.
You think they could afford to get like Miranda Cosgrove? Yeah, dude. Okay, whatever.
Do you guys think that YouTube Red will do well at all in a year from now?
No.
It's hard to know. I'm really interested in what the Game Grumps made with Dan Harmon because I fucking love Dan Harmon.
Dan Harmon is definitely going to be an interesting contender for that one.
And I'm like, I thought the Smosh show was interesting. I haven't watched it, but the trailers for it seemed very interesting. It's hard to know because I mean, the issue is they are pouring a lot of money into that content, so they really need to kind of increase their subscriptions. But YouTube Red does have one of the best features that I think you can have on YouTube, and that's being able to lock your phone and have it still play in the background.
That should be just a feature, though.
I think it should just be a feature, but right now it's a feature of just YouTube Red.
That's the dumbest
YouTube Red
thing.
/blue/SoulSilver.
I'm glad you enjoyed this.
No, you should have said YouTube Red /Hulu Green.
Oh, that would have been pretty good. That would have been pretty good.
But yeah, and I'm kind of hoping that YouTube TV takes off. Like getting live TV over YouTube, I think that's a very interesting concept.
Yeah, that should be interesting.
Toastus.
I know this
Please.
it's not exactly like
Pornhub Pink Sock, Jesus Christ.
I know I saw that. I just lost it. It's so dumb.
I'd say it's better than Pornhub Blue Waffle, but
Why? Why would?
if YouTube Red can be like Netflix with its original shows that are actually really good production quality, as opposed to like, hey, we're gonna give PewDiePie money to make a show, or
we're gonna give PewDiePie money to be racist on
Yes.
this channel. It's like, oh wait, people already do that.
But I mean, just like if they can make it as good as Hulu, Netflix, like HBO, what is it? HBO Go, HBO Live, whatever.
Well, HBO's always made its own content and kind of made an exclusivity out of it, but the HBO Go was just capitalizing on that.
Yeah,
Like,
but I mean,
they
it's
already
just
made
another
their
one
own
of those
product.
Streaming platforms. They were smart enough to get into what Netflix was starting to do. But I just mean like that kind of idea, like, you know, really good shows with really good production value that you want to have a subscription so you can get these exclusive things on top of all the non-exclusive things that you can find on their streaming service. YouTube Red.
I will tell you what. If they keep pumping out shows like Hyperlinked on YouTube Red, sign me the fuck up. I'm in. Let's go. I'm gonna. You know, actually, how much is YouTube Red?
Don't pay for the
I
memes.
think it's like $9 a month.
Don't pay for the memes. Memes are meant to be free.
YouTube Red is $9.99 for 1 month or a 1 month free trial. Oh my god. I think I'm in.
It.
I think I'm in.
Nailed it.
How does
Nailed it.
Oh, I also forgot. Amazon Prime. They also have their own show. Well, I don't think they have any exclusive production shows. Do they?
Grand Tour.
Oh yeah.
Grand
Ooh.
Tour. The Top Gear guys, after they were fired from the BBC for fucking assaulting a
That's where they
producer.
went to.
Amazon Prime.
Yeah,
And
I
then
know.
Richard
Like,
Hammond
show
went
with
and
Ron
crashed
Coleman.
a fucking electric supercar and nearly died.
nice.
They had another
What?
show with Ron
He's fine
Coleman.
though. He's fine.
He's always fine.
all I know is Amazon Prime is a great service.
Oh, it is.
If it's available to you in your country, get it like now.
Well, what's nice about Amazon Prime is that it allows you the quick packages, which is kind of why I was like, what's the point of getting it? But I didn't realize it also came with like a free music listening app and streaming service and everything. This isn't like paid or anything, just so you guys know we're not big enough for that.
That's
But
what you
just-
think.
But quite honestly though, like it's one of the more complete streaming services because you can stream movies, TV shows, content that they made specifically, music, and getting the packages early and everything. I don't know. I think it's Amazon Prime did it right. I think.
Hell yeah,
I
boy.
concur. Did you hear that they're supposedly losing a ton of money over the 2-day shipping?
Really?
They're
Oh,
they're
I'm not
spending so
surprised.
much money in postage that they're like, fuck, what do we do?
Well, it sucks for them because I'm gonna keep ordering
is
in
now-
2-day postage.
Prime
Yeah,
is
no,
now $20 a month, and it still doesn't
Yeah,
cover
no,
the cost.
exactly. I mean, at this point, because I'm still using my my student email, I still get the student rate for Amazon Prime. So it's like keeping that email address as active as long as fucking possible.
I wish that was a thing when I was in college.
Yeah, so I still get it for $50 a year, which is like a prime deal.
Diamond
Ah.
Battle for Atlantis.
I hate myself a little bit. I died a little bit on the inside with that one. Threw up a little bit in my mouth.
Oh, it's called Realm of the Titans.
What are you talking about?
You got
Battle
it.
of Atlantis, Realm of the Titans, same difference.
It's probably the other best show on YouTube Red, by far. It's about two Minecraft role players who role play in Minecraft, but it's
Is this all on
3D
Machinima?
3D animated, huh?
Is this like a Machinima? Like,
No,
no?
This is on YouTube Red.
No,
Fucking-
not on Machinima. Is it a Machinima?
Yes.
DJ Khalid.
Like, like it's all done in Minecraft.
Oh
or,
no,
like,
this
rendered
is
to look
it's
like
done.
Minecraft.
They got 3D models, okay? They're not
One's
some
a-
cheap ass nobody knows who they are show, okay? This is the real deal, okay? This is a real deal. It's good. You should watch it. The whole first episode. It's something.
All right.
Well, I'm seeing the future now. I'm gonna be sending you a text that says, "The fuck, Mark."
I am seeing the future now.
Go if you have to watch these shows before first.
John, I'm putting that on your tombstone when you die.
I can see it now.
I
Nobody
am
knows. Mark is
seeing
just
the
a YouTube
future
Red
now.
shill.
Yep. Little
It's
did
like-
you know.
It is coming to me right now. I am seeing the future.
Oh fuck. I can't believe this is a real thing.
What if my tombstone just said one thing about somebody close to me in my life? Like,
No,
let's say,
but that it actually says that one thing about somebody close to me in my life.
Okay.
No.
I'm gonna-
That's what that exact thing.
but what if it was just something like, on the tombstone, it just said, "Blake, your dog's gonna run away next week." And then just like every time you came and visited, you just like for the entire rest of the week, you're just like, "You're not running away. Don't do that."
My dog
Alright.
has to stay the fucking side.
I put it on my
The zoom
my
was
Discord.
perfect on that one. It's like zoom. Stay
So
the
you
fucking
guys
side.
go check out that video. It's on my Discord right now. It's really good. It's really good. So good.
I really hope you're not just being.
No, it's John. I'm not overstating
It's a link to
anything.
Two Girls One Cup.
What?
No, this is better. Okay.
Two guests, one podcast.
Two guests, one podcast.
Hey, real nice.
I got
Title
you.
drop.
I got you.
Title drop. Roll credits.
So you on your stream, Mark, you've been playing what, Final Fantasy X, right?
Hell yeah, kiddo! I've been playing
How
some
the-
Final Fantasy X.
How was that?
It's good. I only have one thing to say, and it's ha ha ha. It's a good. That's a great game. I actually do like Final Fantasy X a lot. If you
Yeah.
guys haven't seen the Titus laugh sequence, it is wonderful. It's great.
Okay, tell me, was it not nearly as cringy as
It's
everybody
not.
makes it up to be?
Yeah,
Right? Like,
it was taken away out of
he's
context.
purposely trying to be a cringy bastard because it's a really like tense situation,
Yeah,
and he's just like, you know what? Let's lighten this fucking shit up. I'm gonna act like a goddamn idiot.
yeah. I mean, it was a nice little character moment, but like people take it away out of context. They're like, oh, look how bad the voice acting is. I mean, the voice acting's bad.
I mean, yeah, Titus's voice is just so fucking whiny.
Yeah.
Don't worry, I put that on the chat. I got you.
Yeah, I saw it. That's why I did it.
Funny joke.
But I mean, Titus's voice isn't.
Why is
The,
it shoot off?
we all know Waka's voice is the worst, though. Fuck Waka.
It's his accent's bad, but
Yeah,
Titus's voice is so fucking.
What's
shitty.
his accent sound like for the people who haven't played the game before?
Imagine a cross between Hawaiian and Jamaican, but the voice actor couldn't decide which one.
And he's
You're
also
making me crazy.
the character is like really fucking white.
And he like shoots like his like ability is he throws balls at people. That's
yeah,
it.
he kills things by throwing official blitzball balls at people.
Mhm.
It's like taking a basketball and trying to kill a fucking dinosaur with it.
That's his character.
Waka's the Jar Jar Binks of Final Fantasy X.
You're not wrong.
I continually shit on it because I'm usually like co-hosting Mark when he's streaming, and I'm just like, I fucking hate Waka. Like everything about him. He's
Yeah.
like when I played it as a kid, I was just like, this guy is so fucking lame. I can't wait till like I get Lulu to have good enough magic that I don't need his ranged attacks anymore. Just throw him to the fucking wayside.
I feel like a lot of games have that one character where it's just like, all right, I'm over it. Let's stop.
I mean, he's
But
not he's not even that bad of a character. We're kind of overselling it a little bit, I think. Like I like him as a character because like he was like he treated Titus with some respect. He like gave him his like brother's sword and shit. It was kind of cool. But like his
Then he's
character's
also racist.
yeah, he's just racist and cringy. But you know, that's how
never
things
fun.
go.
But
Anyway, yeah. I mean, it's not a new game, but Final Fantasy
Yeah.
X is cool.
don't forget, it's a Final Fantasy game. It is grindy as fuck, as I put in chat.
Yeah.
It's I have fond memories of it, but then like I'm like, yeah, this is not a good thing to stream because it's literally like you walking up and down this corridor over and over again and fighting the same like 5 different monster combinations over and over again.
Random question. So I started playing Borderlands. Is that grindy? Does that get grindy at all?
Yes.
It's grindy if you're like, I want this particular type of weapon. But if you go into it as just like, I'm gonna have fun with this shit,
Okay.
I would say it's not grindy.
Okay.
I think there are a
And it's
couple
also-
moments where you do have to go. Like, I agree with you, Toastus, but there are a couple moments where if you don't do like at least a couple side quests, you'll kind of get outmatched by the main quests, and then you'll find yourself getting killed like a lot. But
yeah,
other
and
than
also,
that, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, I just wanted to say like the side quests because you mentioned side quests.
Mhm.
Like I hated it. At least it happened a lot more, I think, in Borderlands 1 than it did in 2. You do a side quest, and you come back and bring it in, and then fucking Claptrap's like, congratulations, there's new jobs on the job board! And it's like, go back to the same fucking location and kill the other enemy that was right there. That
Yeah.
you killed probably like 100 of them trying to get the ones that you were trying to kill.
Oh, so you can't just take on a couple of different jobs at
No, you
once. You have to
can.
take only
I mean-
one.
You
But-
can,
You can, but sometimes they will like create new jobs when you come back. Like sometimes
Yeah,
one
got it.
quest will unlock another one that'll like have you go back to the same location again.
like because you did something that triggered that job to finally pop on the job board when a job in the same exact area had popped on the job board earlier.
Mm.
And it's like why did the devs not think this was like they should have had these both pop up at the same time, so you'd be in the same area. Like,
Okay.
I don't think it happened as much in Borderlands 2. I do want to say that
Cars are
game
OP.
is way more fun if you're playing with other people, and also Mordecai is the best.
So don't say anything else beyond the first like 2 hours of Borderlands 1 because I just started playing it with Shelby.
Yeah,
and
play it with
we've
somebody.
neither of us have ever played it before, and it's surprising to see how much fun she's having with it, especially since she's
My
usually
favorite
not very
part in
good.
Borderlands is when all of the main characters die.
Same.
Right.
And then
Yeah.
one of them turns
I
into
haven't
Darth
played Borderlands
Vader.
either. I'm just assuming that happens.
And then one of the
There's Darth Vader.
one of them gets stabbed in the back by a crazy bastard with
Yeah,
long
and then
white
in the
hair.
Red Wedding, they kill Robb Stark and his wife.
And then when you get to the vault is like, I am your father. And then,
Is that just the only spoiler you know? It's that he was his father the whole time. And then they needed
Did
a
you just
bigger
say the
foe.
vault was your father?
and then Aerith dies.
Yeah, you meet
And
her
then they
for like
get the
2 seconds.
DeLorean up to 88 miles per hour.
So Blake, we're about to wander into some territory that you and I aren't going to be very familiar with. You ready?
Go for it.
Nier and Brave Exvius.
Yeah! B and near, all in caps because fuck you!
The
I'm
only topic
so
that Mark
excited.
changes without prompting him.
FFB near announcement. Toastus, hit me with that sick knowledge, boy.
What? So in the original, and so if everybody doesn't know, Final Fantasy Brave Exvius mobile game originally came out in Japan. They re-released it for the global market, but it gets its own updates, and it's about like 6 months behind Japan. When they had it in Japan, when Nier Automata came out, like within the month in Japan, they had the characters because both games are owned by Square Enix, or at least the properties are. They brought out 2B, 9S. Those are two main characters, and then also one of the villains, Adam. Now, as Mark's already thrown up there on the screen, they are adding in another character and another villain, which is A2 and Eve. We don't have any details on A2 and Eve, but 2B and 9S are super solid characters, and you got Adam for free during the event, so it was really, really cool. And I do love A2 sprite; just looks fucking awesome.
I
Not
agree.
because
That actually does
she's
look really
naked.
cool.
Not because she's naked, but just
I like
because
I
it.
will
she's
return.
naked.
I need water.
Good luck. I think, like, I am so fucking excited. Toastus, we were like, because they were like, oh, we're probably gonna have some global exclusive units when we announced the Nier Automata collab, and I was just like, I'm so excited. Oh man, it was right around the time where I was like beating beating Nier for the first time, and then they said that there was a Nier collab in Japan. I was like, this has to come to global because it would combine two of my favorite games together, and I would need all of the characters. This is it. This is how, if you guys find me in a ditch somewhere with no money to my name, it's because of this. This is why it'll happen.
Yeah, I mean, just like when I saw the news like pop up on the subreddit, like, because what was happening, they announced this at a revolving tour that the FFBE crew is doing. They're going to all these different countries. They're doing this thing called Fan Festa, and they're announcing things as they go along. And they made this announcement. People posted pictures like as soon as it popped up on the screen, and like everybody's freaking out in the subreddit. And I saw the news before Mark did, and I didn't even look at all the pictures. I just saw, like, A2 and Eve are being added to the roster, and it's definitely coming to global. And like it came back like 30 minutes later and saw the sprite for A2, and I was like, holy shit, I didn't even see this. Like, I was so ecstatic just from the initial news.
Mm-hmm. Uh, I can understand why Mark's going to lose a lot of money on this. Like,
Yeah,
I know Nier has definitely had a huge following and like uprising and everything. I don't know. I want to get around to playing it one day.
Blake, you have a PS4. Get Near Automata and play it.
Tom,
Get it and play it. Do it. Do it. I promise you. I promise you. In fact,
There's so many games in my backlog already that I haven't even touched yet,
Like what?
yeah, I had that same exact thing,
including
and
Bloodborne.
Mark would not let me not do like anything without like pestering me about playing that game, and I had my own backlog, and I played it, and I would say it was worth bumping up.
Hell yeah. I assure you. I can actually guarantee you it's better than Horizon Zero Dawn. That's
I will say, I think you'll get more gameplay satisfaction out of Bloodborne, but from a story standpoint and the gameplay itself, it's really solid. I'm not going to downplay that, but the story standpoint of Nier Automata definitely is way better than like Bloodborne.
Okay.
Especially since you might already know what goes on in Bloodborne at this point. It's been out for a while.
Honestly, I haven't paid enough attention to the
I will give you this.
I know it's
this
I
card.
know it's the Darkborn franchise, but I like Blood Souls better. I think that sounds cooler. I haven't paid enough attention to either of those to really know what's going to be going on in either. I just haven't touched either franchise. My cousin actually got me Dark Souls as a gift, and he's like, "Play this if you like video games where you die a lot." And I'm like, "I don't like video games where I die a lot," so I took it back to wherever you had bought it and picked up something else instead.
Wow. See, the thing is, he gave you the meme answer. What the real thing was, play this if you like games where they give you a fair but hard challenge that is super gratifying when you overcome the obstacle in front of you, because it's really, like, probably Dark Souls is one of the best design games I've ever played.
Yeah, like I was saying, that the Darkborn, Soulsborn, Souls, Blood Souls. Blood Souls. The series, that's its major strong point, is it is the most gratifying gameplay ever. But at least for, I've never played Bloodborne, but the Dark Souls story, the way it's told to you, I enjoyed the storytelling. The story itself was in recent events, I would say it's definitely good, but there's way better stories out there from a gaming standpoint.
It's just it's just unique in a way where, aside from the very first cutscene in Dark Souls, you will never have another cutscene that gives anything about the story whatsoever until the very end. And
yeah, there's very little exposition in Dark Souls in general.
Everything else in the lore and the story you have to seek out on your own by talking to characters and reading like item descriptions. It's very interesting in that regard, because it's like one of the only games I know of that you can beat the whole game and never have any fucking idea what you just did or why you did it.
Yeah, it's a little bit like that for Destiny. Like with Destiny, like, yes, there's an overarching plot, and it's like, these guys are bad, kill the bad guys. But like you pick up I don't know if any of you guys have played Destiny, but you pick up the Grimoire cards throughout the entire game, and if you actually go onto Bungie's website and read through them, the lore for Destiny is so fucking deep that it's just like, I am completely lost in all of Destiny. Like, everything has a specific reason why it exists. Like, it goes into the Fallen and all of their lore, and the Vex and all of their lore, and it's just like, the world building, that the extent that they have gone to for the world building should have been more apparent in the bulk of the game. Like, the fact that you pick these up during the normal gameplay and then have to go onto their website to fucking read any of them, it's like, no, why? Like, just make all of this world building apparent in your game.
Yeah, like, maybe the way that I'm seeing you talk about Destiny, I also played Destiny, and when I saw enemies, I was like, this is generic alien number 1, and this is generic alien number 2. I
And
was
the way
like-
they become non-generic aliens to you is by reading the Grimoire cards
And that's-
understanding why they're on Earth and why they hate the Guardians. I won't even say humans because I play as an Exo.
Right.
I probably am agreeing with Mark on that. Like, I prefer that there's more in-game information in there. Like, there's different ways to tell it, and I think like when you play Dark Souls, it's more of like a why is this happening? And like you can look at the details and figure out why it's happening, or like you'll see like characters doing things, and like it's like it's not so much like go read like 5 paragraphs to find out something. It's usually just like little tiny snippets that are like 4 sentences long, and they won't mean much on their own, but then like you'll see something in the game, or you're like, oh my god, like, or you'll hear the name over and over again, and like you're like, wait, there's a whole story to this guy.
Yeah.
Like,
Same
and it's
with-
just trying
yeah.
to put all the pieces together. Whereas I feel like with the Grimoire things, it's like you unlock these cards, you put them all on the website, and it's out of the game, and it's kind of a chore.
Yeah,
Nier
exactly.
It's really well hinted at in Dark Souls, where like you'll see like Aldrich the Devourer, and they're sitting in this like giant castle, and if you've only played Dark Souls 3, you'd be like, man, I wonder why this is here and why these are this and why they're called this. And there's like a huge reason for all of it, and all of it could be found within the game with a little bit of digging. Just a little bit. That's all you need, and it's really interesting in that way. Whereas with Destiny, I never felt like they were hinting at anything greater aside from like, oh, there's like a big like circle thing that you stand on, and it's like it protects us from the bad stuff. I'm like, okay. But then, yeah.
I did want to say Nier does kind of what I just said I don't care for, where it's like you can read up on all this other stuff that's supplementary to the game, and it adds so much more detail to it. But what is already in the game is more than enough to just be like, holy shit, this is amazing. But then like, and then after you finish the game, if you go look up all this other stuff, it's just like
it
it's just like,
unravels a whole
why?
nother like plot.
Like, how does this keep getting deeper?
Yeah.
Like, it's fucking crazy. But
yeah.
enough fanboying
Nier
over
Automata.
Nier.
Go play it, Blake. I promise you'll like it.
The thing with that is that a prerequisite for buying Nier is that I first have to have $40.
You go sell Horizon Zero Dawn, sell your
No, fuck
Xbox
that.
One, and then
Fuck
buy
that.
Nier.
No, my Xbox One
Wait.
will be going towards my Xbox One X. Fuck that.
Skim a little off the top. I promise you won't be disappointed.
You are making some requests from someone who will not succumb to them.
No, trading in my Xbox? No, sir. You have crossed the line, and out of spite, I will never play Nier.
Big mistake. Huge.
No, I'll per your recommendation, I will try my darndest to get around to it eventually.
Oh.
Eventually, that's all I like to hear.
The only
Just
reason
eventually.
Keep it on
Half
like your
past
wish
eventually.
list.
honestly, Nier
There
was
you go.
like a 0 to 10 on my list at first, and then I saw some random video on YouTube that some guy was like, I'm willing to stake my entire career on YouTube and as a journalist to say that Nier Automata is a masterpiece, and if you don't play it, you're missing out on like a generation defining game. And I was like, fucking Jesus, man, like,
Wow.
is it really that big
Must
of a
be
deal?
good if somebody said that, yeah.
And
He was rad.
I mean, I played it and I can't disagree. It's an amazing game, and it's something that I'll be referencing for a long time for sure.
The story is definitely going to stick with me. The gameplay, as solid as it was not one of those like generation defining things. Like it's,
Right.
you know, like I keep coming back to it and saying like the gameplay is not like its strong suit is the story, but the gameplay itself is also strong.
Yeah.
And
I'll tell you what, Blake. Let's
That's all I
get
can
the
say.
game together, and we'll have
Yeah.
you play it. I'll just sit and watch with you because I know I'm not going to be
Cool.
able to play it with PlayStation.
Like we did with The Last of Us.
Yeah, we
Fucking
played through the
do it.
entire game. on a
That's
road
how
trip
John
together.
that's how John experienced The Last of Us. Was I played through it and he watched.
Do it. Oh, that'd be awesome.
I
yeah.
just spilled my water all over the carpet.
nah.
Bad.
I'm very sad. Now I'm thirsty. I'm sad.
Good job.
I'm drawing
Really
a
good job.
sock.
Real quick, I want to thank everybody for sending in your questions of the week. We already got 3 today, which is, I must admit, in the middle of a stream, that's a record high. Don't forget, if you guys want to send in more in case your question doesn't get covered today, that's legacyofmarkjon@gmail.com. So if you guys want to send in your questions, we'll answer it on a weekly basis, and hopefully we'll get to yours. Thanks for watching, everybody. I really wish I had a PS4 and an Xbox One. Like, at this point, you know, it's not so much that I don't want to go into them. It's just a matter of I don't have the money to do that. It's kind of like with you and you know, getting Nier.
And the PC.
And the PC, same thing. Well, Nier is kind of like one of those.
Well, because Nier, it's like technically, yes, I could go out and spend the $40. It's just that, yeah, there's stuff I could rather spend that $40 on. But with the PC, it's like I do not have $1,400 to spend on a PC.
Yeah, but that's how I feel with the Xbox One and PS4. Just because like I want to mess around in Halo 5 just because I've seen some of the stuff that people have done. It looks like such a freaking blast. You know, I want to go and play, you know, Last of Us, the Shadow of the Colossus remake that's coming out, because I never got to play it. You know, there's just some stuff that's very limited to.
And Uncharted is worth a playthrough. If you like The Last of Us, Uncharted is worth a playthrough.
Yeah. Well, like I said, it's just a matter of I'd like to get to them, and one day I hopefully will. That's why, like, I'm now getting through Xbox 360 games. I'm just now getting through Borderlands on Xbox 360. That game came out, what, 2007?
It's a good game.
2008? It's a great game, but I just never got to it, you know? I have all the Halo games, haven't played a single one on my own. Just haven't. I mean, even Dante's Inferno, I played the first level, and everybody else, my cousin played it for me. I just watched him play it.
You told me to play it too.
Yeah, and you did. You gave it a good hearty try, and it was an okay game.
It was alright. Yeah, it was a little bit too like slow.
Yeah, it was a rinse and repeat kind of thing. It was just beating up some people. Okay, beating up some more people. Okay.
Yeah.
Like, I get it. It's an okay game. If you like God of War, you'd like Dante's Inferno, basically. So I wanted to ask you, Nathan, about Dandara, because I don't know what that is, and you were talking very highly of it.
So this actually is something that popped up on my radar yesterday, or maybe the day before. My weekends kind of blend together. It was actually... can I like do name drops for other like YouTubers and shit?
Yeah, go for it.
It was
Never.
Video Game Donkey. It was a Video Game Donkey thing, and he was talking about how good of a year this was. And he was like talking about just like, oh, and these are like super tiny, like these 2 games that I'd seen like he mentioned, and he's like, I'm just waiting to hear more about these. And so I'm a sucker for gameplay. Like, that is like when I'm playing games, that's for gameplay. And it's just the concept of this seems really good.
That looks really cool.
So it's kind of like a VVV thing, except you can't even walk. Like, your only option is to like use this grapple hook to go onto these glued surfaces back and forth, and then you get like a shotgun blast out of your hand. I'm gonna read the snippet from Dandara, like the Dandara website off of the developers are called Long Hat House. Little indie dev studio. It says, in a bizarre universe where the oppressed are on the brink of oblivion, Dandara has awoken to reshape the world. As a Metroidvania carefully designed with both touch and gamepad in mind, we considered how you could achieve exploration and fast action using either input. The result was a gravity-bending world where movement is comprised of jumping from surface to surface in lovingly crafted environments. It's up to Dandara to restore balance and give direction to the directionless world. So, like, it's a Metroidvania from what they're explaining. I haven't seen a lot on it yet, so it'll be wonderful to see what kind of power-ups and stuff. Like, that's another genre that I'm a sucker for, is Metroidvanias, especially when they're done well. And I'm very critical of them. Like, I just got through playing Ori in the Blind Forest super late, but like, I love the mechanics for it. I just thought it was really short, and so like I'm a little critical of it compared to like say Hollow Knight. But it just the idea of this game, like the movement control, seems really cool, and just like it seems like it's an indie developer, so like, and it looks like the game is probably going to be one of those like fairly cheap ones, so it's going to be nice and cheap on the wallet. And the biggest thing is they announced that it's going to be for the Switch. I'm hoping it's also going to be for like Android, or I mean, like they said that you can use regular controls. I'm hoping it also comes out for PC because you don't have to use touchscring.
Yeah.
Hey, come in my mouth. Thanks for the follow.
Oh, it come in my mouth. It's all over my toaster. Thanks, guys.
Come in my mouth, scrumbled my bumbles all over the toaster. Good job.
Hey, come in my mouth.
Thank you for
Change my
scrumbling our
profile
bumbles.
pic to a sad face on the toaster.
Yeah, clip it just after I say "come in my mouth," and then just stop the clip right there.
That's on the internet now.
Hell yeah, dude! I'm okay
There's
with
a
that.
lot of
Phrase
bad things
on
on
the
the
internet
internet
now.
about Mark.
Yeah,
never
dude,
gonna-
I've just embraced it wholeheartedly. I'm also a cat boy, like a freaking, I don't know, I did a zombie nya once. It was a great, weird time.
Nice.
I also said a lot of very incriminating things, but whatever. I'm not running for
There's-
office anytime soon.
Well, what was it? There was one stream that some guy had like a bunch of letters that lined up to be something inappropriate that you just should not say on the internet, and I just said it. And then
Yeah.
the moment I said it, I was like, "Oh no, no, no!"
Yeah, you
why
really
have I
gotta
done
read
this?
it in your head
End
before
my
you say
life
it.
now.
Or mispronounce it terribly.
Yeah, I don't remember what it was though. So thank goodness, because I don't remember that. Good morning to you too.
Going great. How are you? It's
Doing
nighttime.
all right.
But it's good. It's a good night.
I wonder where you're from. If it's morning for you,
Britain?
could be.
Good morning to ya.
Top of the bone into you.
Yeah, it's the Dandara just seems like it'll be interesting, but I want to see what they can do with it.
Yeah, and I mean, it could be a letdown. Like, it could be really short. It could be like there's not a lot of more movement mechanics besides just the grapple.
Sophie
Yeah.
versus Gaming, thank you for the follow.
Woo!
Whee!
Thanks for
I'm
that.
from the UK London.
Yeah.
Called it,
Oh,
motherfucker.
Called
Woo!
it. Good
Hell
shit.
yeah.
Thanks for the follow, guys. It's really nice of y'all.
Thank you.
So it's nearing near the end of we're getting close to the end of the podcast. Sorry, guys. I know you guys just followed and joined us, but we're getting close to the 11 o'clock for us, and it's about the end of the time. So before we go to the question of the week, I know we didn't do sponsor time this week. Sorry about that. I didn't really have anything prepared unless you guys want like a okay one. But
I can
before
try
we
and
do
tell
that,
people
you guys
next
respond
time.
to that. Mark, Sword Corner.
Oh hell yeah. Okay, so
Oh, boy.
in this sword corner, I wanted to address something that's near and dear to my heart. Corner. And sorry, Toastus, it's not the one you wanted yet, because this one is a much more pressing matter. Honestly, if I don't get
I'm
this out
leaving the
today,
call.
the world might end if I don't get this out today. So get ready.
Then don't get it out
The-
today. Just let it end.
Oh.
Don't get it out. That's how we get banned. Don't let it out.
The misconceptions. Son of a bitch. The
Is it-
misconceptions.
If it's your special dragon, I'm signing off.
It's not my
I'll
special
leave the call
dragon.
with you.
I don't want to
Unified.
I don't want to see you let out your special dragon.
If anything,
never
I'd
heard
be-
it been called that before.
The one slaying the dragon. Whatever. The point is the misconceptions of dual wielding. So the most common thing is people think, oh, I'm going to have one long sword in each hand. That's a terrible idea for multiple reasons. One is you should just have a shield. Don't be stupid. Two, having two long swords means that if you use them at the same time, unless you're striking from the same direction at the same time, they're going to get tangled up. And if you're striking from the same direction at the same time, why not just use one sword and have something else in your offhand to defend yourself? If you want to dual wield properly, the most common way is to have a dagger in your offhand, something that's short and maneuverable and can move it around your other sword so they don't get their blades entangled. The other thing is, if you're just fighting with one hand and the other sword is on the other side of your body, what's the point in even dual wielding because you're only using one sword?
Because I want to be Kirito from SAO.
Don't even get me started on Kirito from SAO.
The origin.
Hey, I have a special talent. It's dual wielding. It's like, well, maybe you fucking shouldn't use it.
Just look, Kirito is, first of all, aside from the fact that I hate
I have started a rant.
Aside from the fact that I hate dual wielding, he is the most boring character. He has no personality. Just god, fuck it. Sword Art Online. Just fuck it. It was such a good idea. It had so much. It was on the right track for like the first couple episodes, and then it just shat all over itself.
I just think they picked the wrong main character.
They picked the wrong main character, and then
because Asuna is so much more interesting.
Yeah, she actually has a personality.
Pretty much everyone he interacts with is more interesting than he is.
And then they had a code baby, and their code baby was the most boring entity in the existence of anything ever.
The fuck? How do you get a code baby? No, don't even answer that.
They found them in the forest.
They just found a child, and they're like, "Hey, you're our child now." And it was like, "Okay, but I'm part of the game," and they're like, "We don't give a fuck. You're ours now."
And then they fell in love with it, and it was. I mean, I guess spoilers, but if you're sad about spoilers,
it's less than halfway through season 1.
What if the game, what if the game goes under? Like they have poor sales and they have to shut down the servers. Goodbye, baby.
I mean,
see, the thing is though, it's just code. That's part of the thing. Okay.
And I mean, like they
probably happens.
Beyond the first users, they weren't trying to sell that game anymore.
And beyond season
because
1,
of plot reasons.
And after season 1, Code Baby has no relevance anymore anyway.
But she still comes back in season 2.
Yes, but what's
She's
the
still
point?
there.
It's just there. It was like a plot point.
I haven't watched this, but just the concept of an NPC.
It's worth a watch
by players. Just why?
It's SAO is absolutely worth a watch, but it's not very long, and I think that's why it's worth a watch. Is because there's 2 seasons, which I mean both feel like 2 seasons each. So let's call it 4 seasons, but they're like short episodes. They're totally bite-sized. They're all on Netflix in their original Japanese and American dubs. They're worth a watch.
So,
if for no other reason than just to understand what Mark is ranting about.
I'm so angry. But before you watch Sword Art Online, there's like 6 other better animes that you should watch. First of all, My Hero Academia is actually great. Like, it's really good.
I've heard very good things.
It's one of the first animes in a very long time that has like not disappointed me. It's barely ever even like slow. Do you want to fight me? I watched the first 1 episode of Space Dandy, and I kind of was bored, honestly.
Just keep fucking watching it. You said you were gonna watch 3. I had to watch 3 of your freaking anime.
But I
was bored after the first 2. It was not until the chomp happened
that's fair.
Oh.
That's fair. But does Space Dandy have an overarching plot? Because it would be really boring if it didn't.
No, that's the entire point. There is no overarching plot. You liked Black Mirror. There's no overarching plot in Black Mirror.
But those episodes are good, though. I was just confused during Space Dandy.
That's the point. Just fucking enjoy the ride. Okay.
But I want coherency, at least a little bit. Like Mob Psycho is the bare minimum coherency that I need. Also, watch Mob Psycho before Sword Art Online. Oh, that's another one. Death Parade before fucking Sword Art Online. Fuck Sword Art Online is the point of all of this. Anyway, what are we talking about now?
Well, I can either attempt a really shitty sponsor time, or we can answer question of the week, and this question seems like it'll be a little long, so we'll probably do the question of the week only.
Question of the week.
Okay, question of the week. But I had one joke, and it was because we were going to do Pepper Grinder, and I had to Google image search Pepper Grinders.
do you want to do that, since we can make it like the podcast like 10 minutes longer if you want?
I just wanted
or we
to
can leave it for next time.
That's a big ass pepper grinder.
That is a really big pepper grinder.
That is a big pepper grinder. That is a very large pepper grinder.
I think he's overcompensating for something.
I don't think that's a pepper grinder.
Probably for his small salt shaker.
I think that's off of like Bad Dragons, like alternate culinary
Yeah.
website.
That's all I needed.
That one is called the Colossus.
The Colossus.
You can stand in shadow.
You just said black dragons culinary web.
Yes.
Let's move on to question of the week.
Oh god, that was great. Sorry, I was not expecting that. Alright, so this question comes from formerly Brunette-alicious, now Blonde-alicious, also known as Lynn. Thanks for starting question of the week, and thanks for sending in your question. Her question comes as, greetings, ladies and gentlemen. We're all gentlemen here. Unless one of you guys wants to make an announcement.
I'm a toaster.
Not today.
I'm a cat boy.
God damn it.
Yes, how dare you? I actually identify as one that toasts toast.
You don't toast.
John, I'm gonna send you a picture of me being a cat boy, and it's gonna make you very sexually
I'm not even
uncomfortable.
gonna make this
Alright,
stupid joke I was gonna go for.
Everybody knows toasters toast. Okay, I'm done.
Well, I mean, if guns don't kill people, people kill people. Then toasters don't toast. Toast toasts toast.
Fuck.
Alright, fucking enough. What
Perfect.
game would you love to play again, but now in the perspective of a different character? What character and why?
Here, John. Oh wait, I was about to send it to Toastus.
Dear John.
I'm gonna look at my game cabinet right now.
I'm trying to think of a game.
Forza 6, but I would like to be the car that came in second all the fucking time.
No, Forza 7, except I'd like to be the person who waves the flag.
Yes, I would like to be checkered flag holder number 3. It's kind of breaking the rules of the questions a little bit, but I would love a Last of Us story that was where you played as Tess. Like, even if it, like, earlier in the apocalypse, maybe before she even met Joel, I would love a storyline to figure out what Tess's backstory is. Because, and this isn't really a spoiler, it's so early in the game, but you as Joel follow Tess through this area where fucking everyone knows her. So she's got all of these established relationships, and I think it would be cool to kind of see how she got to where she is when you first encounter her in the game. So I feel like that would be cool. But I know that's going a little outside of the lines, but that would be my answer.
That's a good one. That's actually a good answer. I appreciate that.
I have two answers.
What about you? Go for it.
Okay, the first one is PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, but as the guy who gets first place. And then the second one would also
wanted a chicken dinner.
This is true. The second one is also kind of a joke, but not really, because I really want this game. Give me Metal Gear Solid 5 The Phantom Pain, but play it as Raiden again, so I can play another Rising Revengeance game. That's it. I just want that game.
I gotcha.
I'm like looking through my Steam list right now, and like a lot of the games that I've played that I've like actually been like, oh, they're memorable. It's been like, actually, they do have a section at the end where you play as like an alternate character, like Rising Revengeance, where you get to play as the dog, or
Yeah. Or Jetstream Sam.
or like Shovel Knight, where you get to play as like two of the other knights and shit like that. It's kind of crazy. Or Hollow Knight, which you can't currently, but you do get to play as Hornet soon enough. That's on their list of things that they're doing for the game.
Or John, I have a.
But I do have one.
Earlier in the week, Luigi's Mansion, but you get to play as Mario with Flood, or Super Mario Sunshine, but you get to play as Luigi with the vacuum.
Oh,
Interesting.
that'd be crazy.
I want, but in the game.
Controller died again.
Oh, even I was looking at my list, like Magicka, you get to play as the freaking mages the entire time, and then there's like an alternate where you get to play as like the bad mages in the game. But I was gonna say one that would be really neat. It would be more of a gameplay thing because I love gameplay. Super Meat Boy. Instead of playing as Super Meat Boy, the titular character, you get to play as Dr. Fetus, and you
that'd be
actually
kinda
have
cool.
to build the levels. Like, you
Oh,
get
that would be pretty cool.
I mean, like, I think level editor is in there, but it would be like, it'd be cool if like there was like some kind of like resource management game where you had to like get the resources to build the traps that you're gonna put in the way of Super Meat Boy.
Well, that's like kind of. I was gonna suggest an asymmetric multiplayer game where one person builds a level, the other person has to complete it. But then that's just Ultimate Chicken Horse.
Ultimate
Yeah.
Chicken Horse, yeah.
But it'd be like more like he has to like get the funds in order to get the resources. Like it would be like some kind of weird like real time strategy game mechanic where like you're trying to get the resources to make these levels before like Meat Boy gets in the way, and like it would have its own like storyline.
That would
could
definitely be interesting.
I don't know. Like I'm just like looking at my list and I was like, hey, this one sounds like a good one to run off of. Anyways, done.
Yeah, no, it definitely would be interesting to run. I that would definitely run that. So I want to just clarify. I don't know what, because Lynn was saying earlier. It's not really my question, but thanks, Blakey.
I know. I qualified that it was breaking the constraints of the question, and I apologize.
Yeah. Well, because that's kind of like the route we all sort of followed.
All right, let me take another look.
XCOM
So
2, but from the aliens' perspective.
Well, so it's if it was that way, I feel like with that I would want to say, Fire Emblem, but in the perspective of the Mad King, like for the GameCube. If it's if we're talking at about Lynn's question exactly as it is, like having like a bunch of little misfits while you're at war, literally destroying you from one side, and you're just like trying to push them back, but they keep like overbearing on you, but you're the most powerful thing in the game, kind of thing.
In the game. Yeah.
Well, but like you're the most powerful being in this world, but you know that your forces can't stop this also semi-unstoppable force coming towards you.
Oh, how about
Right.
I've heard of like I've seen perspectives for Dark Souls 3 of being the original, like the first boss in the game, who's also a secret boss later in the game. What's his name? Gundyr.
Oh, Udix Gundyr, yeah.
Yeah, it would be like, because he's got a whole backstory and shit, it'd be fun to play as Udix's storyline, and then like the end is you trying to defeat the Chosen One.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Interesting. That would be a definitely interesting approach. And what I was going to say, though, is that would be answering Lynn's question literally. But I wanted to try doing it in the way Blake did it. Because I love Fire Emblem storytelling. So there's just something about it that I appreciate. It's narrative driven. You kind of have to be narrative driven with it. In the GameCube version and the Wii version, they have Ike and his whole merry band of people, but they don't exactly give a lot of backstory towards his father, Gawain, and the Black Knight, who's a constant threat in both games. So there's just something to be said about having like a side story that fully fleshes out what's going on, and if done right, would be done well. Like there's just something to be said about watching someone's rise to power and seeing how that plays out, how they became the most feared swordsman of their empire, or anything else really. I don't know. I think it'd be interesting. Did you have something else, Blake?
I would like to play through MLB 17 the show as the ball.
I want to play through Nier Automata, but as 9S.
What might be interesting is a baseball game where you play as an umpire and see if you can make all of the right calls throughout the game, or else you get fired.
Oh, that would actually be kind of cool. You
right?
watch
God.
football
Baseball
play
game
out.
where you play as
Oh,
He's
man.
so ridiculous. Like
umpire simulator.
Oh, then you have to like deal
2018.
with like people committing fraud and shit and like
Yeah.
paying you off.
Yeah.
Oh man, that would actually be a pretty cool game.
there you go, guys. There's your game development idea.
Or no,
What
just
would-
call it umpire/ref simulator, and you could like pick a sport that you wanted to officiate.
That's what I was gonna say. I was gonna add.
No,
that.
if
Yeah,
we're going
like just
full
going
EA,
into
we make
football,
one
soccer.
per.
Yeah, because if you chose to be soccer, you could pick. Oh my god, it just becomes fucking FIFA. So like you would need to upgrade your character's endurance to be able to keep up with the play, and how well you keep up with the play affects how well you see the play, and
like,
therefore how well you call it.
And like you got a perception
it's a
stat where you get
fucking
like a certain
nightmare,
amount of
and I
bullet
love it.
time. Like,
Oh my god.
Like you'd have like bullet time and like your meter would run out, but
Oh
like,
my-
you'd have a better perception stat.
Yeah, so like then you get to see it slow down. It's like, okay, this is
like,
actually
You
what
can
happened.
invest in
oh, that was
Eagle
over
Eye.
the line. That was over the
Hold on.
line.
Let's cross over with like Assassin's Creed where they use like eagle vision to like see like it zooms in and then it's like, was that over the line? And then it's like
Yeah.
a quick time event to call it.
Like-
Oh my god.
What if you were like, for example, like being a ref for football, and you would just call out of bounds while they were running in the middle of the field? I feel like that would be the most fun aspect of the game, just making wrong calls left and right.
No, see, but then you get the fans pissed off at you, and you get the officiating body of the umpires mad at you, and then you get fired.
Oh my god, then there's
That would be-
politics
that would-
involved.
Yeah, then you have to work your
You
way
have to,
back
like,
in.
Play the crowd, and you got to play the other officiators. Like,
Oh man.
And like
Yeah.
sometimes the crowds are rowdy and start throwing things onto the field. How do you, as the umpire, deal with that?
Oh
Like,
my
and I
God.
think it was the 2004 World Series. They brought a SWAT team out on the field because in New York they kept throwing shit onto the field. Oh no, it wasn't. It wasn't the World Series. It was the American League Championship Series. It was the ALCS, Yankees and Red Sox,
that would
and they
be
kept
the
throwing
best.
shit on the field. So they
The-
brought out SWAT teams.
the final
That'd
level
be
of
the
the
best
game.
button in the game. Call out the SWAT team.
Call out the
Like,
SWAT
every
team.
game. Like,
Well, I mean, you've played Fallout 4, right? Where the one guy who sells the swatters, the baseball bats, he's like, yeah, so you have these two baseball teams, and then they beat each other to death on the field. It's like, what?
So the
Wait,
last level of this game will be you like say you're officiating like the Super Bowl or something, right? People keep throwing shit on the field. The SWAT team comes out, and then the conspiracy happens. Gunfire everywhere, explosions. You get flashbanged, and then you have to use all of your umpire abilities to escape the field without dying.
that'd be the best end of the.
That would be fucking awesome. Oh my
like
god.
blow your mind. Like you're like, I thought I was just playing this fucking like officiator simulator 2018, and then all of a sudden it turns into like a
Like, but
survival.
all of a
horror
sudden,
game.
actual plot
And
happens.
if you make friends with the players, like the players, if you don't piss them off with your calls or something by taking lots of bribes, they'll defend you at the end too. They'll be like,
the linebackers are like taking a
No,
bullet
like-
for you.
No, like imagine you had done multiple sports before like choosing football, so like suddenly you have baseball players rushing the field to defend you.
Oh my
like you have players from all sports that you have officiated, like like you have guys
Yeah,
with
no,
baseball
you
bats and
just-
tennis rackets and golf clubs.
You just piss off the quarterback of the football team, and he starts coming up to you, starts shoving you, and all of a sudden, just
And
some
then
guy
Clayton
from
Kershaw
the Yankees
runs out.
Yeah, it just comes out with a bat, just starts bopping him on the helmet, just bouncing off of it.
No, it would be awesome if you had like a baseball team, because you have like hitters like tossing themselves balls and hitting, but then you have pitchers too that are like drilling them with fastballs.
Fucking Lance Armstrong comes by and like kamikazes into somebody with his bike.
Or like Federer and Nadal just serving balls at people, and Tiger Woods 300 yards away teeing off.
the game's
I was gonna
broken.
say
You just
Mike
have to
Tyson bites off
officiate.
someone's ear, but
The game's broken. You just have to officiate
And I'm
one.
just imagining how much of a nightmare all of the licensing for this game is.
Oh, it'd be hell.
Like needing PGA and MLB and NFL and MLS and FIFA, and I want to kill myself now.
what were you gonna say, Mark?
I was just like, the game's busted. You just have to officiate one Olympic shooting event, and then they come in and help you at the end. The game's busted. Too easy.
No, what would be funny is if they had it for like if the intro level was like a little league, like a bunch
Oh
of
my
like
God.
5-year-olds playing the
Like
game.
t-ball.
Oh my
Yeah.
god, the
Like,
freaking
he's
soccer
out,
moms would
but
be
he
like
dropped it.
trying to rip your head off.
Wow.
Man, this is a great game. We should make
Like
this.
Pee-wee football.
Yeah.
Oh man, this reminds me like the concept that you guys are going with. It's like Postal or like original Fallout, where it's just like absurd shit just going on in something that shouldn't be. Like,
Yeah, it's like just as the umpire, you see a fight happening, and it's like, I'll allow it.
I'll know it.
This is the sport now. I have changed it forever.
It's
No, but you have
now
to rise to
wrestling.
power. You don't start off as the head.
Yeah,
ref.
exactly.
It's
Yeah,
UFC
like,
now.
you've got to break up the first few fights.
Yeah.
It's UFC.
Oh, you have to
That's
learn
funny.
fighting abilities to be able to break up fights. Man, this umpire RPG is gonna be great.
Right.
Well, what I was going to say too is that if you're like officiate a sport long enough, you actually start learning their skills. So, like, let's say that stadium riot happens. All of a sudden, if you're officiating like a football game, you're tackling through a bunch of people just to get out of the stadium. You've learned that skill. You've learned how to swing a bat hard enough to knock someone out in baseball. just you're running through like no.
And then
Drop
after
kick
that,
people
it
with
turns out
soccer.
all of the umpires had died. So suddenly you're the only umpire available for any sport, and you need to officiate all of them at once.
Oh my god.
So it's like ball, touchdown, out, hole in one. Like just officiating. Like you have a screen of just 9 different sports, and you have to make the call on every single one of them.
Oh my god. This game
That
is
was-
like turning into a nightmare.
But that's when
really
you
is.
become the
Nightmare.
superhuman
It's golden.
umpire.
And then you just at the end of the game, you just become umpire god.
What a weird power fantasy.
All the
that
other
we've
people
created.
all the other people who become umpires have to come to you and just like, oh great one who has officiated overall. What should we do next?
Nothing.
We're going to
Go
Hooters.
home.
Woo.
Go
Go
home.
home.
God.
Let them fight. All right. Well, I think it's about time to wrap up the podcast. Quick shout out and thank you to Nathan, or otherwise known as ToastusMachina, and Blake, otherwise known as Fig Newton 7. For those of you guys who want to follow him on Twitch. Just kidding. I don't think you have a Twitch.
If you want to follow me on
I do,
Twitch,
but I don't stream. I very
Gotcha.
rarely stream. You can follow me though, for when
Yeah.
the rare occasion when I do stream twice a year.
Maybe we'll stream Near Automata. I don't know.
don't
I
do
won't
that.
be
Or
streaming
maybe
for the next
fucking
8
not.
days either, so.
You
Yeah,
can-
so if you guys want to follow them, it's ToastusMachina and Fig Newton 7, and Mark is Marksman 46. We've been Legacy of MarkJon. Thanks for joining us for this podcast. Don't forget, if you guys want your questions answered, legacyofmarkjon@gmail.com. Let me resend that real quick. You got it. Legacyofmarkjon@gmail.com. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time.
Later.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye, Internet.
Bye.
Mark John.
Mark John.